If Love and Gogi is wrong, I don't want to be right.
What would Socrates say to that?
It tickles my fancy.
Okay.
Okay.
Goosies.
I don't have hair.
Oof.
You got Marcos.
That's not.
Wait.
Yeah,
That's true. You do got me. Get over here, Marcus. Let me look at you.
They
don't want it.
Tobin and Leroy, ready to deploy. Had to hit it with a little journalism, but that was a decoy. Better have about me, boy. Okay. Leroy and Tobin, hold to the show, man. Still in the sauce with the show, and till then, his half moon open. Sometimes go taste like a snowman. No proof, I'm alive by the motor. No proof, like I always wanted him. I never hated him. I never traded him. And if I did, I never ever traded him. You know what is a star? Like another city, the driver's side flag. Wish I could large, so many more. 10 in the more, never a bar. 8, 10 in the more, 2 to the P. Nothing to you, but it's something to me. Hands up as ever, cute as could be. You can watch us on YouTube with view for free. Ay. This one time for the Twitch. This one time for the text. This one time for the phone line. Whole time wonder what they gonna do next.
You know, I just wish you guys would stop the quibbling.
Oh, no promises today, Tommy. It's a frisky Friday. You don't know, dude.
Hey,
You don't know.
I'm not gonna have much quibbling because all I need you to say is you were right.
I know. I lost my bet again. Damn it. It's Kadarius Toney's fault, though, dude. I mean, he's
Butterfinger. Hey, listen. At this point, I was thinking it would be best if you just bat the ball into the ground. Because when you try to catch it, you give it to the other team.
Gave it to the other team, and then also just blew a catch right there in his hands in stride. But everybody's like, "Oh, Kadarius Toney's gonna." No.
Okay, but wait. You're saying all this, but why didn't you think that before the game?
I mean, you would think if Patrick Mahomes just football, just catch it.
Here, can I tell you the biggest mistake a fan will make? Here it is. You make it all the time. It's a team game. Patrick Mahomes can throw the hell out of the football, but if ain't nobody there to catch it, then how good is Patrick Mahomes?
He was there to catch it.
If he
his hands.
If he doesn't catch it, how good is Patrick Mahomes? You see what I'm saying? You always overlook these small little details.
I was mad that the dude dropped it on that crazy scramble that he had across his body that still hit the guy in the hands and he couldn't catch it.
Again,
the number of drops last night.
Again, Patrick Mahomes was being Patrick Mahomes, but maybe Kadarius Toney was being Kadarius Toney, and you just overlooked that. You said, and I quote,
Kadarius Toney last in the Super Bowl because he was catching everything in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, true.
So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's for people to be ripping him. I get it.
No, well,
but he did win the Super Bowl. Help them win the Super Bowl.
I'm just listen. I know the kid can play, right? We've seen him make big plays.
He's electric.
But I'm saying, I just say this for the purposes of how Tobin was analyzing the game. Patrick Mahomes. That's it.
No, it exactly bit me in the ass how I thought it was. I was like, it doesn't matter. Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
And he did all his Patrick Mahomesness. Nobody helped him.
What did you expect? But that was my point.
Blew it for me, dude.
Wait, so
Kadarius.
No Kelsey.
Chris Jones just hobnobbing in the stands.
Wait, can I ask you a question? Why is he in the stands?
I don't know.
You think he's telling the people? You see, if I was in there, they wouldn't be doing all that nonsense.
Yes, he is saying
probably.
But they were being that is their first night, right?
It was banner night.
So it was banner night. He has to be there. He's part of the team.
He can't miss banner night. That's true. So you think he'll be at the next one or no?
No, he's gonna pull Emmett. He's gonna wait for them to lose to Jacksonville, and then the Hunt family will pay him all the money that he required.
Because think about this. Jacksonville is not a slouch on offense. They got weapons. And they got Etienne.
Yep.
And they run the ball a lot.
Listen.
Because that's the way it's Sam Wright, right? Not Sam. Why did I say
Peterson, Dougie Peterson.
Oh, it's Doug Peterson. I'm sorry. Doug Peterson wants to run the ball. So when you get that situation and you actually have weapons, I'm talking about bona fide weapons outside, and you can't get no pressure up the middle, I'm just saying.
Robbie,
I'm just saying right now, Chris Jones is winning.
Dade
Chris
South
Jones is winning 1-0.
Robbie would have traded down and drafted Tony instead of Waddle. I think that's true. He did do that.
I made a big boo-boo. I started Kadarius Toney in my fantasy league
Oh my god!
because I held Kersey was hurt.
That shouldn't be.
You know why? Here's why. Here's why. Because I'm gonna tell you why. There's a bunch of people that did that. You know why? Tobin.
It wasn't Tobin. I'm going by the last time I saw that man on the field. He was running all around Philadelphia.
Right. True.
That's the thing. We're talking about a guy who's very talented out of the university.
Not even disputing that. But my whole basis for my point here is Tobin just came in and his analyzing of the game came back with what they got Patrick Mahomes.
That's how it worked with Jimmy Butler against the Bucks. It worked out so well.
But it's different. Patrick Mahomes can't score 50. Because he always got to throw it to somebody else.
I will say, like he was, people were talking about that Lions defense, but he was running yesterday. They pressured him a lot.
Yeah,
he had to move his ass around. I don't know. Like that obviously was the thing that stood out the most is that Kadarius Toney, you blew that game for me.
Now, question,
but that offensive line, like Patrick Mahomes was having to scramble a ton. He was having to move the hell out of there. I get very annoyed with this stupid little fake pitch.
Well,
I got a bigger issue. I got a bigger question.
I have a bigger
issue. Are we sleeping on we're not gonna go 9-7?
The
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
Are we because the dude hasn't thrown an interception in almost 400 passes.
I don't know.
And they score a bunch of points.
It was a nice September night to Leroy. Let him get into some bad weather.
I'm just saying, based on what he did last year and then starting this year, because here, listen, I think Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback. But did Jared Goff play better than Patrick Mahomes?
No.
Why not?
No, because Patrick Mahomes' teammates let him down.
So the numbers don't matter. The completion percentage don't matter. None of that matters.
No.
Because if the shoe was on the other foot, we'd be saying Jared Goff threw a pick.
He didn't, though. Like you can't make that an interception. They need to make that a new stat. They should call it the Tony. That's not an interception, dude.
In other words, you're saying right after the game, right after the game, Kadarius Toney should have went to the local police department and filed assault charges on the football.
Like,
that
and then he did it again. It wasn't bad enough that you just gave them 6 points, but then again. Anyway, let's get into some headlines brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Super Center. Why buy a truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford.
We know trucks.
Right now in the FIBA semifinal.
I know, that's what I was watching.
Germany's giving it to America right now, Leroy. Giving it to America, 96-84. Jovic held up his end of the bargain. Serbia beat Canada today.
Wow, really?
Yep.
That's an upset.
Serbia beat Canada, and Jovic is moving on to the final. So if we want the all-heat final with Spo versus Yo, we need a comeback here from America, but it's not looking good.
That's kind of sounds cool. Spo versus Yo.
Spo versus Yo, dude. Jovic had 8 points today. He was 4 for 4 from the field. Bogdanovic, he was cooking. But yeah, Canada was like, kind of the sneaky team for everybody. They're pretty loaded.
Well, first of all, you didn't realize how many people in the NBA were Canadians until you watched the FIBA World Championship.
I didn't know Dylan Brooks was Canadian.
I didn't know Dylan Brooks was Canadian. RJ Barrett got the business from Jovic today, by the way.
You wanted to bring that up.
Well, it's on the international stage, dude.
He was wearing Team Canada colors.
So that happened. Yeah, they got SGA. I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't know SGA was Canadian. He's good.
Yeah.
Did you see what? Here was the best part.
The boxing.
The best part was. So last game, Dylan Brooks, of course, gets ejected, and he goes into the tunnel and he puts on boxing gloves out of nowhere and starts shadow boxing. And so the next game, Serbia beats Canada and Jovic out of the tunnel. Young Jovic, he's trolling Dylan Brooks, shadow boxing down the tunnel. Who knew we got a rascal?
Well,
I made Tobin so happy.
You would have, but Tobin, the thing about Tobin is he would have never found out because Jovic wouldn't be here right now.
Wow.
If the Dame deal had gone through,
he's off the
earlier.
table. dude. He's off the
Now
table.
he's off the table.
Off the table.
In a month. In a month, you change your mind on
6
a
weeks.
career.
You know, it's been 6
Wait,
weeks.
no. Let's see it. Okay, in 6 weeks, you change your mind on a career. Think about that. A 19-year-old just turned 20. You change your mind on his career in 6 weeks.
Did you see what he did to the South Sudan?
I'm just see, he does.
It was amazing. Marlins win streak came to an end last night.
It came to a screeching halt.
Yeah, they
Like
lost.
no hits.
Woo-hoo.
They had a perfect game through 7.
Yep. It
Against
was
the Marlins, by the way.
10-0. They lose. Their win streak comes to a big series coming up this weekend against the Phillies for the Marlins. You have that. I believe I want to say that who the hell's playing? I think the Diamondbacks are playing the Cubs. So you got 2 wildcard teams there. And who do the Reds have this weekend? Reds have Reds have the Cardinals, who stink. So that's the Marlins need a big series win this weekend, and hopefully can stay in this wild card race after a very, very good week for them. But their 6-game win streak comes to an end. We will continue on. Lots to get to, of course, today. Bernie Kosar calling in today, Leroy.
Yep, calling in at 11. You know he ain't gonna fail me.
The great Bernie Kosar scheduled to call in today at around 11 o'clock. We, of course, have Leroy. We got to tickle his fancy. Lots to get to here on a Friday.
And we're making our picks.
Streaming live on YouTube and Twitch, the channel Miami 560 WQM, and on the Odyssey app. Back after this.
WQA.
I had to go rescue Mrs. Tobin yesterday. She ran out of gas. And I don't know how, as a grown person, she runs out of gas.
My wife did it once too. I'm like, how do you
I
run
don't
out of
understand.
gas?
One of the first times we were like just starting to date, and she ran out of gas. We were at Barry University. Taco Bell is still there in North Miami, and we took her little bug. We took her little bug, which smelled like crayons, and right in the middle of ordering,
the car crapped out. So
like,
you're in. So like, you're in the drive-through line.
In the drive-through line. So I have to push this bug to this woman I'm just dating, and I have to push it across. There was, I think, a Mobile or an Exxon across that street, right by Billy's Tavern, and I had to get people out of the drive-through line and push this damn car.
Did you get your food first?
No. Yes. No, I didn't run. I wished. It probably would have been smart. And then here we are, 17 years later, still running out of gas. Like, are you kidding?
She didn't see the sensor? She didn't see the light?
Went to go. What about the dumbass people that say when the light comes on, you still got a quarter of a tank?
Suckers. Suckers.
Well, I mean.
No. Well, you know what's flat? I got in because I was like, I hopped in the car real quick because I was going to get my daughter from her bus stop. And I look, I'm like, damn, you got like no gas. But like, we were in the midst of the day, and I forgot she had to go take my daughter to cheerleading later on that day. But I would have thought in the midst of that, she would have been on her way to get gas. And then she goes, the car's not working. I don't know if it's something.
No.
I don't know if it's something mechanical or if I'm out of gas. I'm like, and I thought immediately too, I saw she was out of gas earlier today, basically. And like, how about that? So filled up the old tank. I tell you what, getting that smell, I don't know how mechanics do it. I mean, that smell of gas was on my hands all night. I was scrubbing like 9 times.
Oh, wait, did you have to walk to go get gas?
No, I got a can.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know how sometimes those bum-ass cans have like the safety on it? You gotta like jimmy it in there. So I had some gas pour on my hands in the midst of it. But man, 17 years later, things don't change.
Oh my God. My wife did it once. And she's like, hey, I ran out of gas. Where are you? Around the corner. We lived right off of 136. We lived in a development right next to the BB&T Center or FLA Live now. And I said, so you ran out of gas and you're nowhere near a gas station. In fact, you weren't even headed to a gas station.
Nope. Nowhere near one.
Nowhere near one. Well, like, and so I'm started asking, so how far did you think you were going to get? And well, you know, when the light comes on, but you can't have a quarter of a tank for 3 days. At some point, you got to get gas.
Right. At some point, you got to realize.
And then she throws me, I got so much stuff to do.
I get that, but getting gas is
it's vital.
It's vital.
Like, it was vital. Like, I was
like breathing.
You know, today it was like, 80 miles till empty. I could make it down to the studio, but
why risk it?
I'm not risking it.
I get gas in the same place every time because it's the cheapest.
It's hot out here, right?
Yeah.
So the AC is being used.
Dude, it's
burning the gas.
Through it. And then I'll tell you one thing. You know, the scariest place is changing a tire on the highway.
Oh, my God.
Like, but I'll tell you what. I was like luckily she wasn't on the highway, but she was like in a neighborhood that still you could go like 40. It's still scary. And those people were not stopping. I'm like, does anybody just see that my big ass is out here trying to pour gas into this thing? Nope.
It's funny when you're on the side of the road how fast people are driving, and when you're actually in your car, nobody's moving.
Nobody, I know. It's like, I'm like, I don't think I'm going that fast in this neighborhood. But you know what? When you're on the side of 40 miles an hour, looks pretty fast. A man who is got to be gassing up his team right now is Dan Campbell. This was him in the locker room afterwards.
Oh boy.
You know,
did we expect to win that game? We did, and that's exactly what we did. Because we built that fucking way. And everything we talked about was how it went down. We had to be patient, man. Offense, we go all the way down and score. Defense, we need a takeaway. We come out at halftime, we get a huge takeaway. Yeah, baby. I told you guys we're built for this shit. We can overcome anything as long as you guys just can hang with it. We got a ton to clean up when we get back. But until then, enjoy this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm proud of you guys. Break it down.
Hey, remember this feeling that wasn't perfect. We stick together. We are built for this, boys. We are built for this. 2-0 next. Let's go. Win on 3. 1, 2, 3. Win.
Oh, fired up Jared Goff afterwards.
Hey,
too.
So
you
they're
know
built
what's
for this.
crazy?
They are built for this, apparently.
How about this? Did not know that was Jared Goff.
What?
No idea.
What do you mean?
Just what I said.
So wait a minute. You're telling me if
You
Jared
just-
Goff walked in the mall, you wouldn't even know if he was a
Nope.
football player, right? 'Cause
You
you
didn't-
don't
you
recognize his face.
you
or
know,
anything
like-
like that.
and
Accidentally
as a
noticed-
big black man, I don't do the, oh, you big, you must have played sports. That drives me crazy.
Wait, when it gets thrown to you, but you actually did play sports?
Yeah, but still, you're like, I don't want to give them the satisfaction of being able to walk around town and pick out every big black guy and say you played sports.
Totally fair. Oh, even though
Right.
you did play sports.
So I'd say no. Never played a day in my life. I tell people that all the time.
Rocket scientist, actually.
Or when people say, hey, big fella. Hey, man.
Hey, Chief.
Yeah, chief,
Oh.
boss.
Wow, we got a little comeback here. Germany only up 3 now with 1:30 left. Intangibles. Austin Reeves
At the line.
At the line.
Hey,
right
man. Is Austin Reeves that good? Because he been balling.
He is. He is.
He has
He
been balling,
balling.
but he's also got that Lakers rub too. You know, there's
What do you
nothing like
mean?
Lakers overrated.
But-
Gabe Vincent's
mean-
about to glow up, dude.
But no, he
see-
he balled
you
out
see-
last
yeah,
year.
He did ball out.
So
but
what are you
I
talking
mean,
about Laker blow up?
because like
because he's no longer Heat. Come on, don't you
Dude,
get this, Leroy?
let me tell you something. They're treating Austin Reeves, Tyler Hero, like the accomplishments Tyler Hero has in his career, and Austin Reeves. I'm not doing a intangibles on intangibles thing there, but I'm just saying, like Tyler Hero's been an established. They treat Austin Reeves like he's God's gift to basketball already.
Sound like some damn intangible on intangible crime right
just
there.
saying, dude.
What are
I'm
you
just
talking
saying.
about?
Austin Reeves.
If he was playing for the Heat, you'd be pumping him up.
Hard to say.
All I know
No,
is
it ain't
this.
hard to say at all.
All I know is this: you got Spo and Steve Kerr.
Yep.
At the sideline. If the Germany beats US, that's a bad look on Spo and Steve Kerr to lose. To
I mean, it's a
German
bad
coach.
look. No, Spo's are just
I
on
mean,
the staff.
they are
Spo-
good.
I mean,
They
you
are in
got,
the semifinals.
those are 7 titles.
Did you
But
not
here's
just
the
watch-
deal.
Have you not watched
The
the latest
US
episode of Winning Time? Like maybe that's just on Steve Kerr.
You know what's crazy though? Every other team has their best players. Does the US have their best players?
No.
Okay.
The US should. Oh, come on, man.
No, they don't have their best players by a long shot because the U.S. they send their best players to the Olympics, which they just won the gold. But like, no, this is not even close to their best team. Not even close. Down 4, 50 seconds left. Germany's got the ball. All right, need a stop here. In the meanwhile, you have Patrick Mahomes from last night. Patrick Mahomes embarrassed by the loss. Leroy, here was Kermit.
That was just one game, but how embarrassing is this given the fact that you guys unfurled the Super Bowl banner, national TV, starting a new season?
It's embarrassing for me to lose anytime. Like I had said after the ring ceremony, I'd moved on to the next season. Obviously, it's cool for the fans to be able to see the banner and drop it at Arrowhead Stadium. But this is a whole new year, and I think I know that, and we're trying to win another Super Bowl, and this is obviously not the way we wanted to start. And so anytime I lose, I'm embarrassed, and so I'm gonna try to get better so I don't lose more as the season goes on.
It's kind of a harsh question from that guy, though. I got to be honest with you. How embarrassing is it to lose on banner night by 1?
Come on, man.
That's a harsh.
Do you not do wait?
New
So
York?
you're basically
It's
saying,
nice.
here's what you're saying. Wow, I can understand how a player would get pissed off at a question.
It's not like they got blown out. Very strong by that guy.
I mean, the other thing was he could have very easily said, listen, I hate losing, but that's a good football team.
yeah.
We didn't lose to a scrub team.
All right. Team USA right now, Leroy, up 4, 30
No, down
seconds
4.
left.
No,
down
down
4.
four.
Down 4. 30 seconds left. They have the ball. Intangibles Wonder has it. Kicks it over. Oh, no, Ant-Man.
Man, you're supposed to be Kobe at that time. You're supposed to take the shot.
Why would you try and pass it to Jaren Jackson Jr.?
That's it, guys.
That's a terrible decision.
We're going for the Browns.
Wow. Fire Steve Kerr. Spo should have had the job.
Yeah, that's 7 world championships there.
Jesus.
So,
So yeah.
Other than that was rough. That's a rough question.
That's a rough question. That's a rough question. Here was him being asked about Kadarius Toney, who blew it for me yesterday.
What do you say to Kadarius Toney? After
Same guy.
It could have swung a different way if he was involved in some of that.
Yeah, I mean, I've trust in KT. He missed a lot of training camp. Obviously, he wanted to play and fought rehab hard so he could play. Stuff's not always going to go your way. Obviously, he would have wanted to catch a few of those in the game, but I've trusted that he's going to be that guy that I go to in those crucial moments, and he's going to make the catch and win us some seasons like he did last year. So we're going to continue to work him in, get him more and more reps, and I'm sure that those drops will kind of disappear.
They better.
Tell you what, though.
KT.
All fairness to him, if you have an injury and you struggling to play, the hardest thing in the world to do is catch that football.
Oh boy!
Because your mind ain't on it.
3, Leroy. Oh! They tip it back. Bobby Portis tries to throw it up. Austin Reeves puts it in,
and it's off.
But it's over, dude. They only got 0.5 seconds left. Wow! Germany is about to beat Team USA.
Dennis Schroeder.
Daniel
Thies. Or Thies, whatever his name is.
Oh,
Tice.
God.
Thies?
Oh, I think it's Tice.
Thies.
Remember when that scout said that him and Bam was a wash in that Eastern Conference Finals? Jaren Jackson Jr. got Defensive Player of the Year, not Bam, huh? Interesting. Can't even stay on the floor.
6 fouls all the time.
Can't even stay on the floor. It's amazing what we just, always move the goalposts on what's important on defense. Anyway, not that I'm bitter. Not
you sure?
You sure? But you know what? I'm actually happy about this, Vlad, in a strange way, because this gets rid of my dilemma. Now I can just root for Jovic. Because I was like, am I going to root against America? Because I think I was going to root against America, but now I don't even have to worry about it. I'll definitely root for Serbia.
Are you going to get up early that morning and watch them play?
What is that? When is this game? Would it be Sunday?
Sunday morning.
I don't know. I don't know. These games have been very early.
I mean, you have a pregame show to be getting ready for.
That's true. That's true.
And driving too. You got to leave way, way early.
And you definitely got to get gas.
I'll catch the highlights. Serbia and Germany. Although Serbia is a fun team to watch, I will say. All the itches on that team. They really good. Bogdanovic.
Itches?
Jovic.
Oh.
Another Jovic. They're good, dude. All right, 0.5. This thing becomes official. Can Team USA have some kind of crazy steal and heave? And they check it in. Game over. Germany has defeated Team USA for shame. I will say, that's not the. I mean, this is the game has definitely gotten better internationally, and this is not our best team. But I didn't think Germany was going to be the team that bounced us.
I thought it was going to be Canada or Serbia.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Canada.
Didn't think it was going to be Germany. All right. Well, listen, don't get down by 15.
Well, you get to play. You get to play the imaginary championship on.
Look at Spo. Look at that Steve Kerr. You bum. Spo's looking at it. He's like, this guy don't know what he's doing. Terrible coach. Rode the coattails. Coattail rider.
Yes.
All right. Well, tough day for America. Back after this. Tobin and Leroy here with you on 560 WQAM. Take you up until 2 here on the show. Bernie Kosar, he's going to join us at the top of next hour. We will talk to the Canes legend. 1983 team being honored this week.
Yep.
40-year anniversary.
He's into some stuff, too.
National champs.
He's into
you guys
some.
Just tuning in. NFL season got underway last night. We've been talking about that. FIBA World Cup semifinals. Germany has just knocked off Team USA. And in the wee hours of the morning, Slovenia. And Nikola Jovic moving on to the finals. Spo, he's a bronze medalist. Maybe. We'll see. Now you got to fight Canada for the bronze. Hey, Spo, don't medal.
Lose.
Don't lose. Don't not medal. Last night, by the way, Leroy, one thing we haven't touched on, big news, Joe Burrow
got paid.
So you telling me Macaulay Culkin got paid?
He got paid, dude.
Richie Rich,
dude. Richie Rich got paid. Joe Burrow, $275 million extension, 219 guaranteed. Highest paid player in NFL history, according to Adam Schefter. Although technically not, because Deshaun Watson 234. Yes.
Yeah, but it was the whole thing was for 260.
His is guaranteed.
Guaranteed is what it counts for me, baby.
But I'm just hold on. Let me say this.
Hmm?
That's why when teams put these numbers out, they're not real numbers, just like you said, right?
Yep.
Would you rather be the second highest paid player and be Deshaun Watson with 230 guaranteed, or be the highest paid player with 219 guaranteed?
Well, the thing that's interesting to me is, like, why is 219 the limit? Like, if I was Joe Burrow, why wouldn't I get both?
The reason why they do this, okay, it leaves some wiggle room for restructuring, right?
Yep.
So you have, in effect, almost $60 million that you can work with.
Yep.
If you need to do something with your cap. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So when he gets to, say if he gets to that third or maybe even fourth year, they'll restructure it, give him another extension, and it'll actually count less against the cap.
Yeah, they can do that jujitsu with it. The cap,
right?
The cap
exactly. So you have to be careful with the numbers out there, because a lot of times they don't just go 5 years, 230, all guaranteed. They leave themselves a few million where they can come back and renegotiate or restructure the deal so they can give them some cap space in the future.
Yeah, because like wasn't Patrick Mahomes like his contract like $500 million when they announced
$450 million for like 13 years or something like that? They'll redo that 4 times.
Oh, for sure. He's gonna be doing the Tom Brady, unless he wants to get away from Kadarius Toney. But I think they'll find another solution for that.
Yeah, Travis Kelce, because all the areas where he was dropping the ball is right where Travis Kelce would normally be.
I know. Listen, you know what? You know,
but
football.
I will say this.
I never said you didn't know football.
Here's the thing you need to pay attention to. The single-handed worst injury to figure out the recovery time is bone bruise.
Oof.
We hear it in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't never know when that guy's going to return. Right? So, although they're not making a big deal about it, when you say bone bruise, I'm a little worried that it might be a minute before he returns.
Yeah, it's a scary thing for sure. It's definitely a scary thing. And then, you know, for this team right now, they look.
Don't worry about Kansas City, because
they always have that thing. It always, I mean, it does feel like Kansas City kind of has the slow start thing talk every year, but this one was obvious. Like, yeah, you didn't have.
But can we just look? In all honesty, can't we just give Detroit credit? Like, granted, there were some mistakes made by Kansas City, but like sometimes you just give the other team credit. Like, they weren't playing a team that they could win a game making these mistakes.
Detroit was good. I mean, Detroit still had to go down and get the lead on them, and
Right.
and look, Detroit definitely has a very talented offense, has a lot of weapons, and clearly does seem like they've improved defensively because they had to come up with some big plays. I mean, the only thing they really had was that boneheaded pass interference.
Right. Which that's an unfortunate thing because I can tell you, once you commit and start going after the guy, if you get there before the ball, you can't stop. You got to just take it. You got to take the L. Because if you stop and he catches it, now you might give up 6.
Pot committed.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Like you coming from a long way, that ball's thrown in the air, right? You're taught to look when he looks, but he's also looking and stopping, and you're just running. It's one of those things. He tried to put the arm up and turn or whatever, but by then he was going one way, and it almost like the wide receiver or the tight end was stopping to go the other way. Just a bad break.
Yeah, so Joe Burrow gets his bag. And now, like, look, Tua's kind of the last guy from that class that is looking to get his money. Obviously needs a full season and a good season to get it.
If he plays 15 games and they win 11, 12 plus, he gonna get paid.
So he has to play. What's the number? Because 15. That was talked about before.
15.
And they
15.
Omar said 13, 14, and Joe got upset with that. You're saying 15. I think a lot of the listeners would like to hear 17 games.
I think it should be.
Look, I'm just saying that. But in today, look, you can hope. We all hope he plays all 17.
Mm-hmm.
But you also can't bitch about the offensive line and then say, I want, if he don't play all 17, he's injury prone when he's playing behind a supposedly shaky offensive line. I think the offensive line is better.
Obviously, everything, we can't judge it just on like 15, 17. Like if it's
15
games, but the team wins 11 games and like he tweaked an ankle or something stupid like that. Like,
and they held them out for precautions because they had
if it's a concussion, like that's obviously a game changer. And that's part of the thing where it's like, I didn't think the Dolphins should have extended him. I love Tua. I love Tua a lot, but it's not like
there's too many uncertainties to be giving a guy $200 million.
Right.
And I agree with that. And I think
it's fine.
What's crazy about this is they tried to extend him. Tua said that's okay. But here's the other thing. Tua has to know why they're not throwing a boatload of money at him. You see what I'm saying?
Well, that was the thing. Like everybody got crazy about the whole 5th-year extension thing or the 5th-year option thing. And I'm like, they're obviously going to pick that up with the way quarterback money is just like, because even Tua banged up, getting to a $20 million with QBs with his talent, like that's not bad with the way you're having to pay quarterbacks next year.
Mm-hmm.
But he definitely, and I say this as an ardent Tua fan, he definitely needs to have a full season, healthy, producing to prove that he deserves a long-term deal. I think there's nothing unfair about that.
Right.
That's something that Burrow, even with he's gotten his team to the Super Bowl. Justin Herbert has been out there.
And now, let me ask you this. We sitting here talking about Tua, but the highest paid player has been injury prone himself.
He has been, but he got his team to a Super Bowl.
I understand that. But why aren't we, because he got his team to the Super Bowl?
Got his team to the Super Bowl. Got
injuries still the injuries.
Super Bowl and a conference finals. Like he's there at the end. Tua had Skylar Thompson taking his snaps in the playoff game. If Tua would have come back for the playoff game and it was, I think it's even a better argument for Tua if he was 8. I mean, it's concussion, so it was a tough thing to judge. But like if Tua would have been there for that wild card game, I think it's a different discussion. But
he gets credit for it.
It has to be
right.
Joe Burrow goes out there and he gets his team there at the end of the season. Yeah, even with the bang up, he deserves it. He definitely.
What about Herbert? Because Herbert had one of the biggest collapses in football.
Nobody gets more of a pass than that guy. Trust me. I mean, everybody old piss.
But why? I understand it. Why do certain guys get a pass, and if the wrong guy does the same damn thing, Like, who's the quarterback in Atlanta?
Desmond Ritter.
Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they didn't even blame it on Matt Ryan. They blamed it on the coaches.
I know. The assistant coaches.
Right. So, like, who gets the pass and who doesn't?
Man who never gets a pass because he's always just gracious. Bernie Kosar, Kane's legend and Leroy's friend.
Yes.
We will talk to Bernie. He's going to call in coming up next. It's our Tua. It's our Tua. It's our Tua. Tua, Tua, Tua. Tonga Vailoa. Not
Tua Tagovailoa.
A for effort. Dolphins quarterback.
Tua.
It's our Tua. It's our Tua.
Tua.
Tua, Tua, Tua. Tua, Tua, Tua. Can go to hell. Tua Tonga Vailoa. Dolphins quarterback. Daddy loves you guys.
Our Tua with Tobin and Leroy.
Check the history of
Two of the program, ladies and gentlemen. Tobin and Leroy here with you on 560 WQAM. We will get to our headlines later on. That show always brought to us by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Super Center. Why buy a truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford.
We know trucks.
There is a lot to dive into, but we break format for legends. We break format for legends, and we do have to go out to the Toyota of Hollywood guest line. Shop hundreds of Toyotas indoors in one of America's largest showrooms at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. A man who is a Canes legend and near and dear to Leroy Hord's heart.
Yes,
Bernie
he is.
Joining us here on the show. Bernie, thank you for joining us.
Hey, Tobin and Leroy, awesome to be with you today.
Bernie, I don't know. One thing I want to know, I've been partners with Leroy now for like 8 years, and I just exhaust him left and right. But when he hears from you, he just gets happy, man. Like he has an easy feeling. He seems happy when he hears from you. How do you do that with him? Because I just seem to be driving him nuts all these years.
Well, thank you for swallowing my cranium up to see that he actually smiles, okay, when he hears my name, because back in the old days, hazing was not only allowed, it was expected by the quarterback. So when you were a rookie and I'm the veteran quarterback, you had to be a little harsh on the rookie. So I had to be a little bit at the beginning, but Leroy, and I don't want to swell his cranium, but Leroy was so dominant a football player, and me and him had such a rapport on the field that he was hard to get mad at because he was so damn good at getting open, catching my passes and blocking. So he made me statistically awesome out on the field. So I can't love him enough for being out there.
See, Tobin, see how that works? See how that works? You ought to try it sometimes.
Maybe. I guess I gotta change my ways, Leroy. But
Hey.
I don't throw a ball as good as Bernie does.
And I wish I was saying that just to be gratuitous or Eddie Haskell nice and stuff, but really it's just generally true. So some of my kind of more iconic plays that were kind of drawn up in the sand, Leroy was a big part of. And actually, after watching the Kansas City game last night, Leroy and me had one of our bigger plays against Kansas City where he made one of my little 5-yard passes. He turned into like a 75-yard touchdown run, which thank you very much for that, Mr. Horde.
Hey, I did well with that too, believe me. So, Bernie, did you watch the game last week? Did you watch the Canes game last week?
Yes, I did. Yes,
And
I did.
when was the last time you saw a University of Miami team play almost mistake-free, dominant up front, and disciplined football? It's been a while, right?
Wow, Leroy, what a astute point and a great way to kind of get right into the Canes stuff. And yes, whether it's my old days with the Canes, mine and Leroy's day with the Browns, I absolutely am a homer. And as a trustee at the University of Miami, I bleed green and orange. So there's no question that I want to see the positive side of things. But if I could peel that back and put my objective football hat on, Leroy, I absolutely concur with you. To see a opener like that from any football team, but especially our University of Miami team, for the way we haven't been really dominating the line of scrimmage for the last quite a few years, and having pre-snap penalties and undisciplined type plays, to come out and soundly beat a solid football team that was a bowl team the year before, and to just dominate the game the way a Miami team was awesomely fun to watch, and actually I think sets up really cool for a real amped up national game that University of Miami. We put ourselves on the map 40 years ago, making games like this mean something in South Florida. And it's kind of cool that it's the 40th anniversary of the national championship, and Texas A&M is coming to town for a nationally televised game that really means something for the magnitude of our Miami program again.
Bernie, I was going to ask you this reunion when you get these milestone years. Is this Goosey's? Is this Goosey's galore when you guys all gather together like this and you get to reflect on something so special? What does that mean to you?
Well, you know what, Tobin, is at first it's hard to believe that it's 40 years ago. My God, I don't feel like the old man now in the late third quarter, early fourth quarter of my life. But you know what, you get more reflective. And, I want to talk about really just the national championship part of it. But really that game and football really teaches you kind of life lessons, and your DNA of kind of some of the things you are as an adult really happen from stuff that happens as a young man. And that team, we lost our first game that year, and we got beat at Florida. And that team and that passion, that commitment, that resiliency, that ability to get back up after you get knocked down was kind of epitomized by that 1983 national championship team. And I just love those guys so much for it. Tobin, to your question, to the point where, talking about that national championship game and that season, I had so many things in my life after that, whether it was Leroy getting cut in 1993 and that resiliency, that ability that the 1983 Canes team taught me to not quit, to not feel sorry for yourself, to be resilient, to get back up, so I get cut from Cleveland. And then 30 years ago, I get to go to Dallas and win the Super Bowl with them. So then retiring in 1997, I had so many physical issues with my health and wellness. So that 1983 team teaching me how to not quit, not feel sorry for yourself, to now be here today talking to you guys north of 11 o'clock and feeling good after being diagnosed 4 years ago with 5 years left of cognitive brain function, and to be able here to know what cognitive is and to be able to articulate, enunciate, communicate multiple syllable words and to kind of reverse some of the cognitive decline. It's just awesomely honored to be a part of it. And I can't thank my teammates anymore in the University of Miami anymore for kind of what they taught me, for never quitting and getting back up. And it's kind of when I say, Leroy, you and me, you hear me say it, we kind of branded it up in Cleveland where we say you matter because we care about people. We tell people that you matter. Well, that's part of what I kind of learned in 1983 from my University of Miami brothers, that you matter. And it's part of a core foundation of what I stand for as I get into my health and wellness journey here in the fourth quarter of my life.
Oh, the great Bernie Kosar. Go ahead, Leroy.
Bernie, so one of the crazy things that I've always remembered about Miami is it's one of the unique schools that went from quarterback you, linebacker you, running back you, tight end you. And I'm talking about first rounders, top guys all over the NFL. And it's interesting to see now that they're trying to get back to that, where you come to Miami, you win football games, you're going to be that guy. And I'm thinking, what group, looking at Tyler, was it Tyler Van Dyke?
Yes.
Watching him play, do you see some of those things that, he has done as a leader and as a quarterback that makes you feel good about getting back to those days?
Leroy, great point. And a lot of my ex-teammates would be mad that you left out the wide receiver greatness, because I was with Eddie Brown, Michael Irvin, Brian Blades, Brett Perriman.
Right.
So,
all guys that we all played against. Right.
Yeah, those are some big dogs and stuff. So, that's that's an honor to play in that many gifted players. And when you have that many gifted players around you, just like I was Tobin, glowingly saying about Leroy, good players make us quarterbacks look good. And Kyler, though, what I really liked, and Leroy, just as you astutely pointed out, the mistake-free, dominant, in-control game that the whole University of Miami played this past Saturday, starting with Kyler. His dominance, his maturity, his leadership, you could tell who the man was Saturday afternoon at Hard Rock Stadium. So that was very comforting to see a quarterback like that, knowing who's the man, who's in charge, and he was leading it. And that was very cool to see from a old school quarterback perspective.
Bernie, we're seeing the quarterbacks again, these monster deals. Joe Burrow, he just got a $219 million guaranteed, highest paid player in NFL history. And like all the QBs from that class now pretty much locked up except for Tua. Tua's got a big year coming up, and he had talked this year about, maybe thinking about stepping away after the concussion stuff from last year, but then is doing jujitsu to try and avoid these hits that he has. What do you think about, his career? Because so talented when he's on the field, but obviously that is a big thing. You do have to be available, and he's going through, went through a lot last year, not only physically but mentally. What do you think of his talent? What do you think he's gone through going into this season, this critical year in his career?
I love Tua, love him a lot, and I'm afraid for him at times because he had some of the same doctors that started my medical decline back in the mid-90s, helping or hurting him, which is a massive issue still with us players in the league and us ex-players. Partly why I'm so obsessive, Tobin, and Leroy knows this, and as we'll be talking hopefully through the course of the year, why I had to find my own health and wellness program to save my life from. And it's funny as we're talking about this, or sad that we're talking about this during September, which is National Suicide Prevention Month. And last Thursday was International Overdose Awareness Day, that I could have been a stat in either one of those lines there, because some of the doctors and treatments that us ex-NFL guys get is so disruptive. So some of the things that unfortunately Tua has had happen with his concussions, as a guy who's had over 100 of them that ultimately led to 14 seizures that had me in a coma, my last two for 72 and 96 hours. Some of the things that you've got to do to hold off some of the TBI, traumatic brain injuries that causes that fencing that happened to Tua on the midfield on the stretcher of the Cincinnati Bengals game, unfortunately was happening to me. So learning how to hold off those effects and slow down that deterioration, of our brain has been a fixation of mine that thankfully I've found some relief that Tua absolutely needs to pay attention to, unfortunately.
So, Bern, who are some of the guys, because, you told me you were going to eat with some former players. Who are some of the guys who are back that you guys are hanging out with, and who is, the guy you look forward to seeing? Like, I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Who's that guy?
Well, I got to say that it was so many of our brothers here that it would be tough to just say any one of them. But one of the things, Leroy, that I would say with some of my old linemen here is that, and I said it in jest, but I've had like 40 surgeries, 80 broken bones, 100 concussions. I said 14 seizures. I had some challenged offensive lines when I was in the pros, and I was not the fastest guy, so I helped the decline of my body. But I had some challenged offensive lines. I did not have that, Leroy, in college. I had one of the most awesome offensive lines, and I was very rarely touched. So I can't wait to see all 5 of my old offensive linemen together.
Well, Bernie, we really appreciate you making time for us. Thank you so much, and we hope you have a great morning. Have a great weekend. Enjoy this weekend, and thanks for spending time with us.
Thanks. Hey, follow my journey on the KosarWellness.com, and love to keep up with you guys through the course of the year. I say you matter because we're trying to make a difference for everybody.
Definitely, Brennan. We'll make that happen.
I'll talk to you,
God
Bern.
bless you guys.
All right.
You matter. Go Canes. Go Dolphins this weekend. Bye.
There you go.
Hey,
Bernie Kosar.
my guy, he been through some stuff now.
Yeah, man.
And that's not and that's not even exaggerating. I remember my rookie year, I've never felt bad for a player as bad as I felt for Bernie because he got sacked like 70 times.
Jesus.
And just imagine a guy who can't get out of the way. Like there was true pocket passing back then.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't a whole bunch of mobile. Even Dan Marino, he wasn't known as a scrambler. He was a pocket passer. So when that front line wasn't good, he was like, oh my goodness. He would get folded up. He'd come back to the huddle. He'd be like, guys. and so that's kind of how my career started is, hey, I don't have a lot of time. So you don't take a lot of time getting out. Right? I'm going to look to be, he was check down Charlie. And nobody said nothing because I would make 10, 15 yards and they'd go, oh, solid play. If I had gotten 3 yards, he would have been checked down Charlie.
Yeah.
And so once you get that rapport with a quarterback, when it's a tough game, he just turn around and give a little nod. I got you. I knew just how much to slow the guy down so Bernie wouldn't get hit. Everybody thought that I was a terrible blocker. All the coaches would yell, you got to block that guy. And I was like, I'm listening to Bernie because I'm catching the ball. And we just worked it out. And it worked out. And everybody was amazed that, they say, hey, man, you and Bernie have. I say, you know what? I just wish they would call a pass pattern for me. Because I was check down guy. I'm your guy. So he's bounced back, man. He's bounced back. I've talked to him. I talk to him regularly. I see him a couple of times a year. And just the overall improvement in his demeanor and well-being. Like for a guy that, he wasn't always this positive. And we don't know Bernie as a guy who's ever been negative.
Yeah.
Right.
From the time we have him on, that's right. A crazy thing to think about.
It took his toll even on him. And so he does stuff to try to, help people kind of navigate through those situations, because God knows if there's an example of a guy who's been through some stuff, it's him.
We appreciate Bernie Kosar for joining us. We will take a quick break. Back with more for this. Tobin and Leroy here with you. 560 WQAM. Take you guys up until 2. Tex wants to know if they released a final injury report. I don't believe that has come out yet. Obviously, the big thing that we're all watching out for is Terron Armstead. I got to be honest with you. I don't think he's playing. I'm a little bit. I'm a little skeptical of him playing just because of the idea that he's, not. He wasn't really ready for the season when he got hurt.
Right.
So, I'm skeptical of it. Do you have Leroy potted up there, Vlad? He's. I'm not hearing his responses. There you go.
You hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Okay.
I'm skeptical that he's playing, Leroy. I'm skeptical that he's playing.
Yeah, I mean, but if there's anybody who can do it without,
true.
But I just wonder if he doesn't get to a certain level of readiness for the season, is that going to cause more problems? You see what I mean?
Yeah,
So
like
now
you don't want to put him out there half-assed. Look, it's a tough task every week. It's a tough task this week with the monsters they got up there in front for sure. But he hasn't practiced with them in 3 weeks anyway.
Right.
I'm hopeful that Kendall Lamb can do a decent job out there and they can figure it out. Austin Jackson seems like he's been pretty solid in camp.
I would say this. Based on what they have done this offseason, going into this season, that I'm going to give the powers that be the benefit of the doubt. The offensive line wasn't terrible, and that was without Terron Armstead. So while we're nitpicking and going back and forth, the offensive line has looked better. Now, I don't know, because they've looked better and they've played without Armstead, can you give him some more time?
Yeah.
And I think that's the question that needs to be asked. If they had questions and they played him because you have doubts or questions about some of the guys that would play that position, then I think you made the mistake in the summer. You're not making the mistake now. So I'm going to say, a lot of times with some of the things that we see, we don't know what Mike McDaniel, the O-line coach, Chris Greer, we don't know what they think of these players. And that's the thing you have to understand. If they were out there looking for offensive linemen, then we should have questions.
For sure.
But the fact that everybody's been pretty laid back about it,
Mike McDaniel had a quote this week. It was something to the effect of he feels like there's the most NFL talent depth, I guess, that he's had. Like, he didn't say it was the best, but he was like, this line has got, like, I want to get the exact quote right because I found it interesting because he was talking about this with Terron Armstead being out, but he just seems very comfortable with the depth that they got.
We just overlook all of that. See, I look at what they feel about a position based on the moves they make. For example, they wasn't going to pay a boatload for Dalvin Cook. They wasn't going to trade a whole bunch to get Jonathan Taylor. And so while we think it would be an upgrade, and maybe they could have thought it was an upgrade too, the price wasn't going to make this running back room that much better. And so you don't go ahead on to do it. And we may not think that, but they're with these guys every day. And so if they get out there on Sunday and we see Tua running for his life, then we need to have a conversation with somebody.
Sure. Yeah, we're gonna get an answer. It's a risky answer because you're like, oh, you obviously Tua's health is like the biggest thing of all of this. We want him protected. Right. And he's not, he's not Lamar Jackson. He's not like the most mobile. He's got good pocket presence and moves well in the pocket, but he can get chased down. And the other thing with him is you hope that maybe this is something that does improve, although his instincts aren't, is that he doesn't let plays die. He likes to stick in there.
But that's, what? It sucks for this reason. It's one of the things that got Allen to where he is. His ability is one of the things that made Ben Roethlisberger great.
Mm-hmm.
That he could stand back there as a moose and hold on to the football longer than any quarterback and take the pounding. You know, so it's one of the things that makes you who you are, but you just have to learn when enough is enough, right?
This was
Like,
the quote.
okay, you might get, say, if the normal play is 2.5 seconds to throw the ball, if you extend it to 4 seconds, you got to realize, okay, I got about as much time as I got out of this.
Yeah, this was the quote that he had on his team, but he said he was asked about one of the old rules was the offensive line has to practice together. Is that a fallacy? And he said the best scenario is that you have the best players at the position at every position. Apparently, the salary cap frowns upon that. It isn't necessarily a negative to have things drag out longer than they're used to. I haven't really had this many capable starters on one line. Usually there's a huge difference when you're trying to get acclimated to the NFL game and who is acclimated. But we took measures to make sure that the competition was at its finest and that the dividends aren't the way you usually totally expect. So
it seems like he's happy with the people that maybe we're not.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, based
there's
on
only one guy I'm worried about. We all know who it is.
Eichenberg.
We know who it is.
But in all of the things that they've done to this point, they've all seemed to work out pretty good. So I'm not gonna just dismiss this offensive line, and guess what? You know how hard it is to run for 200 yards in a preseason game when you're playing standard defense and you're running standard just off tackle plays, right? So, like, yeah, there's something there. Now, would they be better with Terron Armstead? Yes. But here's what you got to ask yourself. Is 50% of Terron Armstead better than what they have? I think that's the decision we'll find out on Sunday. What if he's 70%? Like, at what percentage?
Yeah, what is the number?
What is the number where he's going to be better than the guys that you've seen play all preseason?
We'll take a quick break. Tickle Leroy's Fancy coming up next.
WQAM broadcasting live. Our Tua with Tobin and Leroy.
Oh, you fancy, huh? Oh, you fancy, huh? Oh, you fancy, huh? Oh, you fancy, huh?
I'm so fancy. You already know I'm in the fast lane. From LA to Tokyo, I'm so fancy.
It is time, ladies and gentlemen, to tickle Leroy's Huntsy. But before that, I want to let you guys know football season is back, and so is our Dave & Buster's gift card giveaway. We've got you a chance to win a $250 gift card from Dave & Buster's to watch college football, the NFL, and more. To tell you what you're not going to be watching is Team USA. Bounced. You guys want to go online to the WQM contest page and submit your entry. If you win, you can go to Dave & Buster's with your gift card and spend the day watching your favorite teams on us and Dave & Buster's. Eat, drink, play, watch sports at Dave & Buster's in Hollywood. Leroy, let's get to it, baby. Coming up, 3:30 on Saturday. UNLV visits Michigan. Michigan is a 37.5-point favorite. Tickle your fancy?
No.
Oh, man. Wow.
No.
Fancy,
I'm not. Let's get to the meat of the season. You know, I'm not worried about Michigan. They're gonna stay ranked second in the country. Let's get to the Big Ten play.
Anyway, you know you can't speed up the calendar. You know that, right?
I know that, but that's why my tickle. But Vlad, that's why my tickle ain't my fancy ain't tickled.
He's not tickled by the self-sanctioned schedule.
Right.
You know your man's out once he wins the national title this year, right?
That's what we think that every year.
No, he's really out. No, he's really
No,
out.
he's not. He's not leaving.
He keeps flirting. I don't know if anybody wants him.
Well, the NCAA is saying we're going to give you a suspension.
I actually want to see if Ward says, "Hey, no raise this time. I'm tired of your flirting." You think I'm a sucker?
Let me explain something to you. And what if Stephen Ross calls and say, "Give him what he asked for"?
Crazy. Stephen Ross loves that man. Chased him on a private jet one time.
Yep.
Also,
we might add, while still having a coach.
Yep. Also at 3:30, Leroy, number 23 Texas A&M visits the Miami Hurricanes. The Aggies are 4-point favorites. Our boy Bernie Kosar is getting honored. 40-year anniversary of the 1983 team. Does this tickle your fancy?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. For a number of reasons. One, we all know how we feel about Jimbo. Right?
Weirdo.
But here's the other thing. And for me, it might be different from a lot of other people. I want to see, did the competition allow them to play that way? Mistake-free, poised, disciplined, or that's the way they're going to play every week. So now the level of competition has raised up. You got an SEC team, a team that, you know, is formidable. I want to see if you can play with that same quickness, speed, intensity, poise, discipline. I want to see if all those things continue on. And if they do, then you know you got something working here. And it's not a matter, it doesn't mean you're going to win every game, but I'm saying you got a base. You got a base for how this team is going to play from this point forward.
All right, enough college. Let's get on over week 1 of the NFL season. And I'm going to start you off with a real heater. 1 o'clock. The Carolina Panthers visit the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta's a 3.5-point favorite. Tickle your fancy?
Fancy, not tickled.
What are you doing? You're trying to make this segment get to 12? Because you know, it ain't even worth saying my fancy isn't tickled. Vlad already knew.
It wasn't.
Ain't nobody's
fancy tickled. That was a look of disdain.
Of all the things. Of all the things. All right, let's get to the mean potatoes. Leroy, 1 o'clock. Bengals visit the Browns. Cincinnati, 2-point road favorites.
Yes.
My fancy is
yes. Yes. I want to see $2.25 billion players play in the same game. You heard it, Vlad.
That's $500 million in the field.
Yes,
on the field.
You heard it, Vlad.
$500 million.
$2.25 billion quarterbacks.
You got one guy's 270, the other guy's 230. That's $500 million on the field.
Yes. So, and you know, the Browns have done some things to bolster the middle of the field, right? They signed 2 brand new D tackles because if you don't get pressure up the middle, you basically eliminate your best player in Myles Garrett, right? Because if the quarterback can step up, what is Myles Garrett coming around the edge?
Yep.
He's just doing a flyby. So, interested to see that. I want to see Deshaun. If Deshaun's going to get anywhere back to where he was, I think we still have questions whether he's going to get there. But here's the thing I'm most concerned with. You have Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb allows you to make room for all those other things you're trying to do. If you don't use him and you try to do those other things first, you may put yourself in a bit of a pickle. So I want to see how they game plan this whole thing.
Leroy, the Jaguars visit the Colts. Jacksonville's a 5-point road favorite. Tickle your fancy?
Fancy, not tickled.
Leroy, the Cardinals visit the Commanders. Washington is a 7-point favorite. Tickle your fancy?
Not tickled.
I'm gonna get up and leave, man. What you doing?
Don't worry.
There's
I got
too much
you.
sports.
Leroy, I
There's
got
too
you.
much sports.
I got you. The minute he says a team's name, if I don't like it, I'm saying your fancy's not tickled.
All right, I want to know about this one. This one I think is a toss.
right.
The Titans visit the Saints. Tickle your fancy?
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes.
Tickle.
One of the things about these two teams is we haven't heard from Tennessee. We have no idea what they're gonna be. Nobody's talked about Tennessee, right? The Saints. They got Derek Carr.
We call that.
Now, here's what I would say. Here's what I would say about that. There's only 15 countable quarterbacks, 15 quarterbacks in the league that you can depend on to kind of either manage the team or win you a football game, that you have confidence in that guy playing quarterback, right?
So
if Derek Carr wasn't one for one of the teams, how is he going to be that for the Saints?
So wouldn't you put Tannehill and Carr like 14 and 15 and those 15 quarterbacks?
That's exactly. They live in the range.
I personally think that Derek Carr is in the top 15. So I'm just wondering why would
it is the Raiders' decision. So we
all
have
right,
to,
I got you. But then guess what? You know who kind of shoots my theory? Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
Who knew?
He's built for this.
Who knew? Who knew?
Built for this ish.
Yeah. I tell you, not a bad mantra, especially for that team.
Leroy,
right? Where their coach is.
1:00. Your old friend Baker Mayfield takes the helm in Tampa Bay as the Buccaneers visit the Vikings. Minnesota's a 5.5-point favorite.
Not tickled.
I'm gonna get up and leave.
I got you, Leroy.
Really?
I got you.
Nothing?
Bro, you said
Baker Mayfield. He had one good series when he was in LA.
No, one good half.
All right,
Good half.
The number 2 overall pick, CJ Stroud and his Houston Texans visit the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens, a heavy 9.5-point home favorite.
I picked the Ravens. I picked the Ravens to go to the Super Bowl because I think that what people don't realize about Lamar Jackson, because he's so athletic, is how well he throws the football. And they put weapons with him. Keep in mind, they still are a run-first team. They've always been a run-first team. But now that added dynamic outside, I'm really curious to see how that's going to work out. And that's a tough division right there. I think the AFC North is the toughest division in football this year.
Well, we'll stick with that division as the Pittsburgh Steelers are hosting the San Francisco 49ers.
Woo!
2.5-point road favorites.
Woo! I'm going to tell you this. My fans is tickled. My fans is tickled. How long they going to play this we don't need a quarterback thing?
I don't know.
Because nobody else in the league is doing it. There's teams that's drafting first rounders every third year.
Yep.
When is it going to catch up to him? And we give this guy the benefit of the doubt because he did what he did last year with 4 quarterbacks. But how long we going to do this? At some point, he gonna have to have at least a reasonable, somebody reasonable playing that position, right?
You would think.
Right.
You would think.
And
You would
plus,
think.
I want him to have a decent quarterback because I drafted Christian McCaffrey.
All right, well, that closes out the 1 o'clock slate at 4:25, Leroy. The Miami Dolphins visit the Los Angeles Chargers, who are your typical 3-point home favorite.
Must see TV. Tobin, I'm going to tell you like this. Your reasons are a lot different than mine.
Yeah.
But all our eyes are going to be glued to the same thing. Right? You're amongst the Tua versus Herbert. Because listen, all the numbers last night said that Jared Goff played better, but you won't even say it.
Nope.
You see what I'm saying? Like, so we could have a situation where Justin Herbert throws for 300, Tua throws for 225, but they win by a touchdown. Who had a better game? Like that, you're going to get caught up in that. You're going to get caught up in that nonsense, right? Like, who's the better quarterback?
Technically, Patrick Mahomes did throw for 3 touchdowns yesterday. One of them just happened to be to the Lions. And technically, Kadarius Toney handed it off.
See? But here we go. Here we go. Like, so he gets the pass.
Patrick Mahomes does get the pass.
No, of course.
I mean, if anybody's going to get the pass,
here, I would say this. Patrick Mahomes on a football field, if things don't go right, you're very rarely going to have to blame Patrick Mahomes.
No.
Right?
Patrick Mahomes lives in benefit of the doubtville.
Because whenever Patrick Mahomes has screwed up a game, dude came out the second half and got him back in it.
Yep.
So
sometimes on a busted ankle.
Oh, yeah, that was crazy. So my fancy is tickled. I want to see, first of all, the big question.
My fancy is tickled.
The big elephant in the room is that's a nice defense with a nice pass rush. How's the offensive line going to hold up?
Yep.
Right? How are we going to run the football? Right? Do we have enough to stop Austin Eckler? Right? Those are the things I have to. What are you laughing at, Vlad?
Ethan Schmolnick.
What did he say?
Because you said the big elephant in the room, and he says the big elephant in the room is Tobin.
I didn't. Hey, you my boy. I did not. That was not how I intended that to be used.
Smith time is unbelievable.
Brutal, dude.
Hey, it's between Smith and the Day South.
Smith, South, even Sergey gets love. Sergey gets love to it. Like your guys are good, man. Your guys are good.
Let's crank through these, Leroy. 425 Packers at Bears. Tickle your fancy?
Yeah, I want to see Jordan Love. I want to see what he's got. I've given the Packers the benefit of the doubt because they've had Hall of Fame quarterbacks for the last 25 years, even longer. Right? So if they draft a guy, because we thought the same thing about Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt until he proves me differently.
You know, I said Tua was the only guy to not get paid from that class, but I'm actually wrong because Jordan Love was in that class too.
Jordan Love, for a second, we thought he wasn't going to have a damn job.
Yeah, but didn't they pick up his 5th year?
They did, but he hasn't got like the extension. But like, I don't even think of him in that class. You know what I mean? Like, because it's like he's been sitting so long.
Does. Remember Jalen Hurts? People think of Jalen Hurts before Jordan Love.
I know. It's crazy. Raiders go to Denver. First game of the Sean Payton era. Does Raiders at Broncos tickle your fancy? Denver's a 3.5-point favorite.
You've heard of Dame time. That's what that quarterback is on.
My fancy.
He's on the clock.
He's on the
clock.
clock.
No, you know what
Russell Wilson. You see what Sean Payton said earlier this week?
Yeah.
Stop kissing babies. You ain't no politician.
I'll tell you what he is. He's on rinse time because he's washed.
So you think he's washed?
Yeah. Listen, man.
He might be washed.
Pete Carroll was smart to let him go early. And look at what he did.
Look what Geno did. Yeah.
But look at what the draft picks that they got from him. Now they're significant contributors to that team.
I'm gonna give it a couple. I'm gonna give it 4 or 5 weeks before I just go. But if Sean Payton's talking to your quarterback like that you paid $100+ million, that's not good.
Sean Payton's been no filter this offseason. That's for sure.
He is hot. You got to come in and make a stink to get it how you want it, right?
Philadelphia Eagles, 425 Leroy. They visit the Patriots. Eagles, 4-point favorites in Foxborough.
Hold on, Leroy. I gotta add a little nugget. They're also retiring Tom Brady's jersey.
Oh, that's right. That is Tom
Really?
Brady night.
So let me
Tom
get this
Brady
right.
day.
Hey, you retiring Tom Brady's jersey, and Mac Jones is your quarterback.
Oh.
Yes, my face is tickled. I want to see the face. Hey,
I'm with
I
you.
want to see the face of Tom Brady holding his big jersey while Mac Jones is playing quarterback.
The LA Rams visit Seattle. Leroy take on the Seahawks. Seattle's a 5-point favorite. Tickle your fancy?
Fancy, not
No.
tickled.
No.
Nah, it does
Although
not
I have been impressed with Geno Smith. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. All right. Sunday night football. The Dallas Cowboys take on the New York Football Giants. Dallas is a 3.5-point road favorite at MetLife Stadium on primetime.
Clearly,
My fancy is tickled.
my fancy is tickled for one reason. I love seeing the Dallas Cowboys implode.
Oh yeah, who doesn't?
And if Dak struggles, you know we gonna hear it. So I don't know where, like, Dak had a bad year, but there's been quarterbacks had bad years. Why all of a sudden we got to start signing quarterbacks and stuff for one bad year? You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like they've been sitting back waiting for this day to come.
Yep.
So we'll see.
Question, guys.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be there with Brady?
What do you mean?
Giselle's
Which
not gonna be
lady?
there.
Who's
yeah,
who is
yeah.
his new squeeze?
Come on, Giselle's not gonna be there.
I don't know.
You know the kids are gonna be
Wasn't
there.
he with that Irina lady? I forget her name.
Somebody's ex-wife, right?
He was.
Somebody's
I don't
Bradley
know.
Cooper's ex-girlfriend.
He's been with a lot of models.
I'm just
it feels
saying.
like.
I'm just saying.
Who
This
is
is
his latest squeeze?
This is a big moment. He's gonna get his jersey retired. His family's gonna be there. The kids are gonna be there.
Isn't Robert Kraft on the loose now too again? Maybe the two of them. You know.
Could you imagine Brady and Kraft hitting the streets?
Look out, Jupiter!
Hey, you heard me say, hey, Tom, I know this place. I know this spot.
All right, Leroy. Finally,
Monday Night Football.
Monday Night Football.
Uh-huh.
The Buffalo
fancy is
Bills
Mhm.
take on the New York
My
Jets.
fancy is tickled.
Buffalo is a 2.5-point road favorite.
My fancy is tickled.
It is a
Of course
Vlad,
you're-
this is my
Vlad's-
segment. This is my
He's
segment.
any more tickled than that.
He hit it like 5
I'm just
times.
letting, I'm just letting people know Leroy's excited.
I think Vlad is going to have one tear when he sees number 8 take his first snap under center.
Tear. I'm gonna cry like a baby. Are you serious? See, you guys at least you see. This is what I hate. You had Bernie, right? You had
Yeah.
a great quarterback. You had Marino. I've had Ish. Okay, that's all I've seen for 45 years of my life. Ish. I finally get to see something nice.
Oh no! What was the best quarterback there? Chad Pennington?
Actually, it was Vinny.
Vinny Testaverde, yeah. So yes, I want to see, first of all, there's two things that you never see in sports. Your quarterback blasting your star wide receiver or your star wide receiver blasting your quarterback. They can say they cool, but they ain't cool.
Something's wrong there.
Right. The other thing is, when you have a quarterback that's played a certain way for 5 years, then
Changing the style.
now all of a sudden he say he gonna be a pocket passer when he came into the league not accurate.
Remember what
I
happened?
want to see how that plays out.
I remember when Anthony Joshua didn't want to be a power puncher anymore. He didn't want to be in firefights like the Vladimir Klitschko. And then all of a sudden he's getting knocked out by Andy Ruiz.
Right. You listen. You can be safer. Josh Allen can be safer in how he does things. He ain't got to try to dump truck DBs and stuff like that. However, you still have to be who you are, the person and the player that made you successful.
I have a bonus tickle my fancy.
Okay.
Leroy.
Yes.
UFC this Saturday night.
Oh, dude. I don't know if Leroy's going to be up for it because it's late, but it's
Yes, you.
Hey,
Glad
Vlad.
versus Strickland.
Yes.
Glad you have to understand.
I'm excited for this fight.
Can I just say this?
Yes.
You know how many times I said my fancy is tickled and I've paid for it and slept? Like, dude, the greatest fights I've seen or been to is those when the card starts at 6. Because we're there.
Stylebender's minus 750 to beat Sean Strickland, though. Like he keeps going down. Like he keeps it's crazy. But listen, he's one of the best on the planet. Of course, I'm tickled. Fancy's tickled. We gotta take a break. Back after this.
Time to get it.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I was trying to see if McDaniel was going to give a firm answer on Terron Armstead, but he was doing his Mike McDaniel thing, which is rambling. So I don't know. It's almost like I'm left on a cliffhanger, Leroy. Tune in to find out if Mike McDaniel confirmed if Terron Armstead was going to play.
You know what the deal is. Why would a coach do it? He's on the injury report. You don't need to say nothing.
True. That's true.
Well, why would they? As a player, the last thing I want you to do is put an X on my injury.
Yeah. Well, I think it's weird that they do that, to be honest. I guess for Galen, I know.
It's the weirdest thing in the world that as long as football's been played, nobody thinks it's a problem before you play a game to tell you the other team where your boo-boos are.
Yep.
It's the craziest thing. As a player, just imagine you come to work and as a player, they tell you, hey, you've been dealing with this hammy, let's tell the other team. You're going to get 17 9 routes if you play DB. Like,
I mean, look, you try getting anything out of the Heat when it comes to injuries. They don't tell you nothing.
I like hockey. Your leg, you could have your leg amputated and they go lower body injury.
Right. That's how it's going to be. So I don't know. We had to start the show, so I don't know where we're at. But Mike McDaniel is speaking to the media as we speak to you, and the Dolphins are getting out there for his. He's getting out there. They are getting out there. For
are they leaving today?
No, they're leaving tomorrow. I was about to ask. It's funny you say that because I was about to ask you that.
Usually, I mean, they might do it because it's the first game.
Is it the first game? No LA distractions,
But here's the problem, though, man. Like, time gets lost. A lot of times you go out on Friday, and when we played in Cleveland, we would go out on Friday to a West Coast game, right? And they're farther away than Cleveland. That's
So
7-hour flight?
It's a long flight.
So I don't know, man. Maybe
I'm telling you, he's just zagging off of last year where they stayed out there. He's like, you know what? Let's just go out there last minute.
That's what I thought. So that's what I thought. I thought some things might have happened last year during that trip when they were 2 weeks in California.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I will say this though. Coaches, they don't like doing the same thing if you lose. Right? I don't care what it is, from practice to uniforms to whatever. Right? You lose, they want to change it up. So that might be it too. I just think a 7-hour flight, having to play the next day. So say normally people leave around 1 o'clock.
It's kind of like we're samesies. We got off the flight, we powered through and did a show at 7 a.m. at Radio Row. Samesies.
Woo, man.
Powered through it.
Hey, that was brutal. Time we got in our room, it was 1 o'clock.
Show was at 7.
So you get situated. We were both hungry.
Yeah.
Ooh. So we landed hungry. And because I didn't even see. I don't eat the airplane food. Tobin does not care.
So that's the one time where the 3 hours you get back doesn't help you.
Didn't help us.
No, because we left at what time? We left at.
Well, we got off the flight. Yeah, it was late. What did we leave? We left 9-10 Eastern.
Yeah,
7 Pacific.
Right, and it's a 5.5-hour flight.
So you landed what?
12:30.
Well, then you gotta get your bags.
You get your bags. You gotta wait for a cab.
You didn't get to your hotel till 2 a.m.
It was
really settled in, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we did the show, and we had to get up and find our way into the radio. It's samesies as the Dolphins.
Hey, but here's the funny thing, because our show started before. There was only one other person that had a show when we did.
Right, but he had
LA,
music beats.
and we had to go to the gate and knock.
We got there. We were the only ones there. We were there at 7 Pacific time doing a show, and everybody's just listening to our shenanigans because we're still feeling the East Coast. So it's all right. So we were lively, and then we get the PR people walk in there looking at us all loud.
And then You know what sucks, Vlad? Here's what sucks about Radio Row for us out there. All the food comes 30 minutes after we leave.
Yeah.
So one day they had what? Whataburger? Yeah.
I think. Well, one day they did tacos, and the tacos were really good. I will say. I know you're not a taco guy, but they were good. They were good.
No,
They were,
I don't listen. I don't want to have an MMA fight with my food.
All right, so
get everything in. Your bite is all over the place. Come on.
Give you some headlines brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Supercenter. Why buy your truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford.
We know trucks.
All right, so here's
I'm
what Mike
put J
McDaniel
Fig on the plate because J Fig like this truck. Put J Fig right there.
Mike McDaniel said on Terron Armstead, quote, I know his expectation for the entire time has been to play week one. If he had his final say and Chris Greer and the boys decide to fire me and make Terron head coach, he'll play. I don't know what that means.
That means here, let me break it down for you. I'm pretty good at coach speak. If Terron Armstead was the coach and he got to determine whether he would play or not, he would play. But he's basically saying, I'm the head coach, and I'm going to do what's in the best interest for him and the best interest for this team for the season. So after hearing that, because, usually coaches want to give the player, oh, he's tough as hell. We got to save him from himself. He ain't playing.
This is what Barry Jackson tweets. Says, Armstead will go through, quote, some football stuff today, McDaniel said, before making a decision on Sunday status. McDaniel says, quote, it's my job to protect players from themselves and make sure there continues to be no setbacks. So the Dolphins say decision is not final on Terron.
Hey, isn't that what I just told you?
Yeah, very impressive.
Okay. Yeah. It's like, man, I don't know. You read into so much stuff. I can tell you what they're going to say.
You know football. I have always said that. I never said you didn't know football.
You just don't even ever listen to me.
That being said, I think there's some more subtle shade going on between the Chargers and the Dolphins after listening to Vic Fangio and Brandon Staley's press conference. Little frostiness there. Tell you about it next.
And we've got a full weekend of the NFL and college football. The Canes host Texas A&M tomorrow.
South Florida Lexus dealers 15 minutes of game day uncensored.
Let's go! Sponsored by South Florida Lexus dealers. Experienced amazing.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy.
Jennifer.
Hello, Jennifer.
Hello, guys.
How are you?
It's not the same.
Hello.
No. Okay.
No. I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Good.
We're good. We're good.
I just saw a guy jump off my roof.
Huh.
Wait, what?
All right. Well,
You saw
it could be
what?
happening over here because, like, today it's like, I don't know what's going on. There's like drilling going on in the building.
Nah,
You heard that, right?
Yeah, man.
About a month ago, I called the guy to come give me a quote on a new roof. Guess they decided to come a month later. I don't know.
Interesting. Hey, roof to window. Can you go over to the Windowplex? Give us a weather
I got
update
you.
from the Demesman and Dover Law Firm. YourAccidentAttorneys.com. Free consultations 24/7. Call them at 866-954-MORE.
I'm over here at the Windowplex. Gotta tell you, it's partly to mostly cloudy, light breeze out of the southeast. I'm going to say like 5 miles an hour, maybe a little less. And the temperature is going to be right around 90 degrees. Looks like you might have a pop-up shower here and there this evening because it's clouding up pretty good.
Wow. He's a golfer. How did he do, Vlad? Did you check in on that? Was he close?
He's right.
He's always right.
He's always right. It's like it's almost ridiculous to the point.
Yeah, he knows. He's a
There's
golfer.
something about throwing up that grass 80 times a day.
Hey guys, you watched the game last night, right?
Yeah.
Leroy, Tobin, have you ever seen a 6'5", 300-pound flanker?
Oh, he's not 300 though.
If you're allowing, and by the way, if they're allowing offensive tackles to do that, why can't Austin Jackson do that?
Because he's lined up in a. I'm gonna tell you why. Because he was lined up in a legal position.
Who?
Right? The tackle.
Juwan Taylor?
Yeah.
Not from what the official at NBC that was watching the game, and Florio and all these guys were saying. They said he should have been penalized every play because he was
doing the shaking the leg.
No. I know what you're talking about. No. I know what he's saying. Wait. I'm mistook because they have a big ass tight end or wide receiver. So no, he's talking about here's what offensive linemen do. They get back as far as you can before you get the warning. And so it looked like it got to the point where he looked like he was in the backfield.
Bro,
and they never said it. They give you, but here's the deal. They never just called that. First, they come up to you and say, hey, you got to move up, right? Next time you try to line up and cheat, because it's the tackles do it to cheat. So they can get back on that pass rush.
Okay.
And usually they'll say, or even they do it with wide receivers. Hey, move up. They'll give you direction. And if you don't, so they never told him anything the whole game. Now I think the rule is, here's what the rule is. I'm almost positive. Your helmet has to be at a certain spot of the guy next to you.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So if they look down the line and his helmet, by the way he was standing, was like the middle of the back of the guard, then they let it go. But it did, Vlad. You're right. It looked ridiculous.
It was weird.
And they were even saying, look at how he's cheating the system.
Shake. Yeah. It's hot all over the place, but the one place it's not hot is the frost going on between the Dolphins and the Chargers trash talk right now.
Really, you making stuff up?
No, I think
is there more?
I don't know if he's making it up. This is not a Tobin.
Okay,
this is not a Tobin.
So one of the interesting storylines here is the Dolphins. Everybody knows they got Vic Fangio, right? Everybody knows that. But they also picked up as part of the staff this year Ronaldo Hill. He used to play for the Dolphins, and he was last year the Chargers defensive coordinator. Now, Brandon Staley calls the defense. He's the defensive guy. He's the head coach. But
Right.
he was the defensive coordinator for them last
And,
year.
and basically, let me just break down. Basically, what the defense coordinator does, even if he doesn't call plays, that's your day-to-day operations guy.
Yeah.
So when you go to put in a defense or watch film or something, a lot of times the head coach might not be in there. That's what the defense coordinator is for.
So now he's on the Dolphins. He left the Chargers. He wasn't fired. He left the Dolphins. He left the Chargers for the Dolphins, and he's their pass game coordinator, defensive backs coach. So Vic Fangio yesterday was asked about being a resource for this defense because Vic Fangio, Brandon Staley got his real come-ups was under Vic Fangio before breaking off. And so, people are like, oh, he's a Fangio guy. He's from the Fangio tree, old Staley. And Fangio was like, no, in fact, better source for this team is honestly Ronaldo Hill. Here's Fangio.
Not too much. Ronaldo Hill, who's now here, was with them the last 2 years. So if there's anything to be had that way, he's a better source than I am.
All right. So he's giving a little rub to Ronaldo. Ronaldo's going to know this team better inside and out. He was there. Well, here's Brandon Staley. He was asked about Ronaldo Hill being on the Dolphins. And listen to this joke.
Little Frost? Little Frost?
Little Frost.
It won't have an impact because they're a lot different, and so are we. So this game has a life of its own, and this matchup is going to be a lot different than the last one.
No impact. No impact.
Hey.
Wow.
Hey. I got to tell you. And that answer came quick.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't even like a thought. None. Zero. Nada.
Zero impact.
To be honest with you, usually when you have something like this, you look at the film last year and you see what your tendencies were.
Yeah.
And you just kind of venture off of that, right? Because they may say, oh, this is what he likes to do in this situation. And you do something different. But football is such that if they don't do exactly what you prepared for, you're still prepared, right? Like, let's not make it sound like, oh, no, our game plan was off. You still have plays that work for whatever defense. You just
one of the things is Mike McDaniel said this. He goes like, it's not like they reinvented offense against us. They just outcompeted us last year. He felt like it was
right.
It was it wasn't like they
usually, you know what that's an indication of? When you have a two-way goal on offense, right? Coaches hate that because if you can't stop the run or the pass, they just pick you apart. And that's the thing where he says outcompeted, because the one thing you have to understand is that the running game is a gut check. We testing your manhood, right? We lining up right in front of you. We ain't tricking you. We coming right at you with our guys versus your guys. Let's see what you got.
So you agree with me on this, though? You think that was a little frosty?
Let's just say no.
Why?
Because I don't even know what you're gonna say. I don't agree.
But no. Because you said I read too much into the Tua Herbert thing yesterday.
You did,
but you did.
I didn't. But
okay.
But this one you can see it a little bit more.
I would say it from this standpoint. Normally, when a coach goes somewhere else, there's usually a couple of compliments before the nope, he'll have no impact.
Right. That's what I thought.
There is some truth to that. But here's the other thing. I bet you Staley's looking at it like, dude, I gave you a chance and you gonna boat on me?
It was an odd thing.
But here's the deal. Can you really be considered a coordinator if the head coach calls the plays?
Right. It's like
I know what happens behind closed doors. I know that Staley's not in all those meetings and stuff like that, right? That's what the defensive coordinator does is put in the game plan or whatever, right? But keep in mind, when you're putting the game plan in, all the coaches have already had input on it. It's not just that. Those game plans are put in well in advance for that week.
Yeah, and I don't know what they ended up paying them because, I don't know what the difference is. The Dolphins, they'll spill money all over the place. So I don't know.
Hey, I know one thing. There's no salary cap for coaches.
Right. It's just, but it does seem on its face odd. Why would you leave defensive coordinator position for defensive backs coach? That's weird.
Because you really weren't a defensive coordinator, because most people consider, you know, who's this like? Who's the old Dolphins coach from Green Bay?
Philbin. Yeah,
Right?
we hear about that with offense. Like they have, it's with the Dolphins right now. They have what the hell? I don't even know the dude's name. Who the hell is the offense? Frank Smith. He's the offensive
Frank
coordinator
Smith.
for the Dolphins.
Right.
He don't call plays.
Right. But here's the deal. Can you ever be considered for a bigger job if, even though you're the offensive or defensive coordinator, you don't call the plays?
I mean, McDaniel did. McDaniel didn't call the plays. He got a gig.
Yeah, but the way he was praised is a whole different.
He was
praised on a whole different level.
Yeah, but he was the only guy, the only team that interviewed him was the Dolphins.
Right.
Only team.
Okay.
You know? Like Flores. I remember when Flores first was on the scene, like a lot. Flores, before he took the Dolphins job, he was getting everybody.
Right.
You know? So, but Joe Philbin, I don't know. I don't think I don't know. See, here's the thing. If you lost Joe Philbin, I think you'd lie about it and you would say, "Oh, Joe was a great guy, great meetings guy." You know? You would be happy to lose Joe Philbin. I think he's actually pissed he lost Ronaldo Hill.
But that's what it sounded like. It sounded like he was genuinely upset that he bolted on him, right? Because it could have been a situation where they got into it one time and he's like, "I'm out.
I'm out. Going to
You know what I'm saying?" So, but here's the other man. I'm trying to think. It's hard, like, so it's the same situation that was in Kansas City, right?
With
Bieniemy. Yeah.
But Bieniemy still has the same job. Like he's still offensive coordinator.
No,
you
he's
know?
not with Kansas City anymore, is he?
No. But he left for Washington for the same.
But here's the deal. Here's the deal. You can't leave for the same job. So I bet you he's offensive coordinator,
and
assistant head coach.
Yeah, I think he is assistant head coach.
See what I'm saying? You can't leave. You can't leave and take the same job
unless your contract's up, right?
Well, yes, unless your contract's up.
But then he leave because of the connotation that it's still Andy Reid calling the game, calling. So it was.
Well, it's odd thing. Yeah, you don't see it much defensive, but the thing I find it's odd to like. It's still, we're talking about positions where a guy leaves and goes with a position up. He left and got added. It's odd for Ronaldo Hill to leave, have the title of defensive coordinator, whatever the responsibilities are, leave and take a position where you're under the defensive coordinator.
Right.
That's what's weird about it. That's what's strange.
Maybe he wants the tutelage of Fangio.
And Fangio, who once tutelaged Brandon Staley.
What's that? Whoa.
Tutelage.
What?
Yeah, tutelage, but he tutelaged Brandon Staley.
Yo,
dude, right now, you have blatant disregard.
That's the thing, dude.
Blatant disregard for the English language.
Roger just called right now from the everybody just called. Anybody that has to do with grammar, words,
telling you right now,
they just all called and said, "What did you just say?"
Tutelage, dude. He tutelaged Brandon Staley. And is it possible maybe back in the day, Staley didn't like Fangio because he was a bit of a meanie, a bit of an old curmudgeon grump.
And he follows up with meanie.
No, say that word again.
We got to go to break. It's a little late. Take a break back after this.
said, tell me what's really going on. Drizzy back up in this thing, I'm ready. What's happening?
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Tobin, Leroy.
So what are we gonna how are we gonna do this? Me and you gonna pick our games?
Are we just picking games? Like, what do you want to do? Like, you want to just pick 3?
Oh, so no, you got to do 5.
5 games?
5 games.
Well, how do we divvy them up?
Huh?
How do we
We'll
divvy
do it like
them
a
up?
draft.
Okay, I'm
Like
in for
you
that.
get to- Whoa, what is this?
Whoa, what do you got?
Every year, the Ravens send a little care package.
What'd you get?
That's
Is that a bar of soap?
no. It's a
Isn't
charger.
that like a phone?
It's a USB backup charger, backup power.
That makes more sense.
And this
Those are
looks
very
like a little
useful.
hand. It's either Merce or hand. Oh, satchel.
No, don't bring that to a fight. Otherwise, you have to lock it in the locker.
Oh my God, that was the worst.
What?
Dude, so I had my little
So,
my little thing because first of all, you have jeans on, you stuffing a whole bunch of stuff in, it's just ridiculous. So I had it. It was like this big and flat, right?
It was
I
not.
have it sitting here. I got my phone in there, my wallet, and the room key. That's it. I go there. We can't let you in with that. It's not the right size. I'm like, fold it. There, it's the right size. Sorry, I didn't make the rules.
We know what the rules are. The rules are go over to the lockers over there to pay $30 to keep it.
Yes.
there.
So I had to go to the lockers. You got to download the app. You got to pay on the app. It's 4 million degrees. So we just out there sweating, waiting.
Yeah. I burned my hands on the railings. I was like,
Oh yeah, he touched the railing, singed. It was so hot.
oh, it was so hot.
And then soon as you get in the arena, it's 12 degrees.
Yeah, what a night though. Oof, what
Well,
a night to be
I
alive.
will never forget that fight.
Okay. Take a quick diversion. We will draft. Okay, so we'll draft our games top of the hour. We'll do our picks.
Right.
Okay. But I gotta mention something I saw this morning.
What did you see?
This could be something. It could be nothing.
It's
Do with
never
it what you
anything
will.
with you. It's never anything with you.
Do with it what you will.
Okay.
But open up the old Instagram this morning, you know.
Here we
And what
go.
do I see? What do I see?
What did you
What
see?
do you see?
But Jimmy Butler on Instagram with Jaime Jaquez Jr. I was like, what's going on here? Because it was a very far picture. It's Jimmy Butler in a hammock next to
With
him.
Kylo Ren?
With Kylo Ren. Yeah, with him in the distance. You see him there. They're hanging
It
out.
looks like Kylo Ren.
Yep. And the caption.
they look like they're
Admiring
film-
Jimmy.
They
He's
look like
admiring
they're
Jimmy.
I
filming
know.
something.
Then you look at it, I'm like, because remember, I'm waking, crust is out of my eyes, you know. I'm waking up. It's all
Crusties.
coming into focus, right? And I'm like, oh, there's a TV camera there, and they're shooting a commercial, and it says in the caption, it says showing Rook the ropes. What the hell did it say, J Fig? Yeah, teaching Rook the ropes.
Yep.
Teaching Rook the ropes, and I'm like, hey, what about that?
What are they filming?
I don't know. It looks like I'm probably a Miller High Life commercial or Miller. What does he do? Michelob Ultra. Is that what you do?
Yes, yes, he does.
Probably a
So-
Michelob. If I had to guess, Michelob Ultra commercial. So
But then
Here's what
maybe
I'm-
and there's another picture where it might not be for that.
maybe it might be a Big Face Coffee commercial. I don't know.
Exactly.
Because then there's
Yeah.
a picture where they're look at this, Leroy. Then Jimmy and Jaime sitting together, J and J, sitting together, drinking a little coffee, a little cafecito, something.
Look at that.
Big cup, little cup. The
Doubles.
Rooks together, right?
So, if I may, the one thing that I've realized about this Miami Heat team, they find ways to hang out or work out together, right? All over the world, right? Hey, I'm at when they had the rookie camp out in Vegas.
Yeah.
Put that back.
I hate
He's
you,
really
Steve.
good, man. He's
good, but he's
really good.
it gets to one's feelings after a certain time.
My favorite is Jaime hotcakes.
Jaime Hotcakes Jr. Yes, that was really good.
Man, that was good.
Witcher.
Okay.
Like, I'm scared to
I
talk.
understand.
So wait, let me get to it.
Yeah.
One of the things that we've always just were really amazed at is how these guys hang out all over the world, right? Somebody goes to Vegas, next thing you know, so-and-so's working out with so-and-so.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
So this is not, isn't Jaime from out there?
He is. He went to UCLA.
Yep.
Okay, so like for Jimmy to be out there and then Jaime just happened to be, hey, what is?
See, normally I would say, you know what, Leroy? Most of the stuff that I say, he's golfing with Zoe, he's working out with Bam at UM. He's played in the Miami Pro League. He's helping on with UD. Jaime has really ingratiated himself into Heat culture, even being maybe in the Damian Lillard package. We have no idea. There may be no package because we don't know if there's trade talks. But here's the difference. If you're shooting a commercial with him, that's going to have some runtime. You can't do a commercial.
Trade him.
You can't trade him. You can't have him.
He's made a good point.
You can't trade him if he's in a commercial with you.
If you trade him and they're talking about being teammates and they're no longer teammates, you're gonna have to stop.
You have to do a
the
reshoot.
ad. You're gonna have to reshoot.
You're gonna have to
stop the ad.
Yeah, you're gonna have to call up like Orlando Robinson and get him in the ad. I don't know.
AI. You're gonna have to use AI.
But
he didn't say teammate. He just said Rooks.
He did say, but like J-Fig, that'd be a hell of a swerve if he's made. Let's just say in this commercial where, because if the other picture you show J-Fig, there's one where they got suits. There's one where they're in they look like he's teaching them how to dress. I'm just guessing here with
steaming.
Yeah, the steam room with a couple of jackets. There's one where it looks like Jaime serving him breakfast.
No,
So
he's watching him eat. Feast.
Maybe I don't know. Who knows? But the point is, whatever's going on in this commercial, whatever's going on behind the set, it took some work. This took some work, baby. It would be a hell of a swerve at the end of the commercial. Also, you're getting traded to Portland.
I don't think you want to be drinking Michelob in Portland.
I don't know. Leroy, it's nothing. I think Jimmy Butler just took Jaime off the table.
It's nothing.
I think you took him off
like
the table.
because here's the one thing that you fail to realize about sports. It's business as usual until otherwise. You tend to forget that it's a terrible look for an athlete to sit around and wait for a trade and do nothing. You understand? So it's business as usual until otherwise.
But Jimmy Butler's famous enough to shoot a commercial on his own. They decide to go this route. You know that Jimmy.
Can I just make a small suggestion?
Here's what I would say.
I'm gonna tell you what the deal is. He's in LA.
Mm-hmm.
He's shooting a video with a rookie. Why can't it be somebody who's known in LA?
No, dude, come on. This is going to be a national commercial. It's Jimmy Butler.
I mean, it could have been Shakira.
It could have been Shakira, but I mean, I don't know.
Oh, geez, there go J-Fig.
Oh boy,
my bad.
There go J-Fig.
Why not have Gabe Vincent in the commercial? He plays for the Lakers now.
You know what?
Yeah, Gabe could have done it. It could have been a good.
I'm just saying. There's no. Here's what I was.
That makes sense.
Gabe is getting
no
praised
way.
right now.
There's no way Jimmy's agent doesn't call up Pat and he goes, "Hey, Pat."
Don't they have the same agent?
No. He actually Jimmy's agent is actually the same agent. He's now repping what a reclamation project. He's now repping Ben Simmons. He took over from Ben Simmons this year from Rich Paul.
Jeez.
That's a reclamation project, dude.
Hey, who took over? Who took over Ben?
Jimmy's agent, Bernie Lee.
Mm-hmm.
He now reps Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons dropped Rich Paul.
So,
well, I don't know who dropped who, but
are you sensing that there might be a possible Ben Simmons?
He's been working out in Miami. Okay. I don't know.
Everybody works out in Miami. I worked out in Miami.
He's working out in Miami, dude. He's working out in Miami.
Dude, you gotta stop this.
Jimmy's agent's his new agent. You know, he plays defense, Heat culture. You'll take him with.
I'm just saying.
Arms.
No, because guess what, Vlad? I'm gonna tell you right now.
Uh-oh.
Do you realize how people got on Bam for not shooting? What the hell you think they're gonna do to Ben Simmons?
especially if Jimmy already has like the baggage with him. Unless there is no baggage anymore.
Really?
But the point is,
we've been saying that for 5 years.
Totally fair. I think he just said that he just started playing 2-on-2 also.
Wait,
just started.
Ben just started playing 2-on-2?
That's what I think he said that recently to Mark Spears. But the point is, there's no way that Jimmy's people don't call the Heat and be like, hey, we have this commercial. We'd love to do have Jaime in it. This going to be okay? And also, Jaime's been, he's hobnobbing with Zoe and UD. And
Dude,
I think Jaime's unbelievable, dude. I think
Here.
he's unbelievable.
Business
for now,
as usual, until other information's out there.
I know, but
you can't be the athlete that sits and sulks because of trade rumors. You can't be that guy. It's a bad look on you.
Of course, Jaime's going to do stuff. Of course, he's going to say yes to Jimmy Butler. But Jimmy's people got to be savvy enough to know we can't shoot a commercial that's going to be dead in 2 weeks.
How you know they're shooting a commercial?
Why are you making Jaime sound like a servant?
What do you think? What do you think they're shooting? Do you think he's shooting a reality show?
That's funny.
Dude, you're beautiful. I don't know.
I think that Jimmy Butler.
You know what? You are the second coming of Rain Man.
Wow.
Like just how you look at regular everyday words and make them mean so damn much.
I mean, he made up a new word just last segment.
Yeah.
Dade South says, you think Pat's going to say, nah, can't trade him because he's in the commercial with Jimmy?
Right. That's Tobin. That's Tobin for you.
I think that there's a conversation that happens.
He let D-Wade walk. You think he's going to give Jaime the heads up?
I mean, he basically has traded Tyler Hero all summer.
Not anymore, though. Who knows?
Really? Not anymore?
I don't know. I just found it interesting.
Let me tell you something. If you're Portland and nothing happens before camp, whoo! All I'm going to say is, whoo!
I'm going to ask Jaime about this.
Not with that guy.
He's there.
Huh?
I'm going to ask Jaime about this at Media Day. He's there.
Please do.
I mean,
you notice he said if he's there.
If he's there.
Why don't you ask him if he's not there? When he's not.
But if you're saying that this could be something, then why would you say if?
Yes.
I don't know. Well, you gotta leave wiggle room, J-Fig.
No,
but I do.
You're not leaving it when you're saying things like this.
You got more wiggle than Jello.
I think it is something, but Leroy doesn't. So we'll see.
I'm just
now
saying,
you're taking two.
The worst kind of athlete you could be is the athlete that hears rumors and starts reacting to those rumors.
I understand, but Jimmy Butler is a national celebrity. He's everywhere. He's at the U.S. Open. He's everywhere. Jimmy Butler's not putting a dude in his commercial who can't be in his commercial.
Wait a minute. How do we not know Jaime doesn't have a deal with that?
I don't know what. Well, who knows? I don't know.
Like,
right, but that's my point. There you go.
I don't know.
It could be there together because
Jaquez have a beer commercial.
Why wouldn't he?
Because what if it's what if it's a California company?
Come on.
Oh my goodness, you are.
See,
beautiful.
I think what it is, you know what it is? You put holes in his theory and his
right
conspiracy. So he's like, nah. Yeah.
You think they're doing a commercial for Visit LA? Oh yeah. Instead of getting Anthony Davis, let's get the kid with the long hair from UCLA.
Well, he is a California kid, and he's probably known, and he's really known in Los Angeles in that market. So that might have been just a local Los Angeles commercial.
I don't think so. Something's up.
So okay, something's up. So
I personally think that you need to stop.
Well, I will for now because we got to go to break. Pick our games next.
WQAM broadcasting live from
All right, welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you on 560 WQAM. Hey, football season is back, and so is our Dave & Buster's gift card giveaway. If you want a chance to a $250 gift card to Dave & Buster's to watch college football, the NFL, and more, enter now online at WQAM's contest page and submit your entry. If you win, you can go to Dave & Buster's with your gift card, watch your favorite teams, all on us, and Dave & Buster's. Eat, drink, play, watch sports at Dave & Buster's in Hollywood. Let's get to some headlines brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Supercenter. Why buy your truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford.
We know trucks.
Miami Dolphins back on the practice field. Last tune-up before they head out to L.A. Terron Armstead not ruled out yet by Mike McDaniel. Says he's going to do some football work today. And we'll see what happens. We'll get the injury report later on. I think it comes out like around 3-ish. This is when we'll find out about that. Last night, NFL season got underway. Kansas City, they lost to the Lions 21-20. You were telling me during the break, Kadarius Toney deleted his Twitter account?
This is how you know this is getting bad, right? When Yahoo Sports, you would think it's a good national sports media, good reputation of dropping stories, breaking stories, and everything.
Pretty good. Yep.
So when you get a notification, you're thinking, oh, something big is happening, right? After an utterly dismal performance in Kansas City's 21-20 loss on Thursday, the Chiefs receiver dropped the social media platform.
Jeez.
He deleted his X account, or what was formerly known as Twitter.
Right.
I hope he didn't drop the ball when he was deleting his account.
Yeah, he held on to something.
I don't know if he dropped. I think he might have dropped the phone.
I can understand. Listen, I can understand you need a break from Twitter. You know, you might want to come back to you, score a couple TDs. I can understand needing a break from that. That's probably.
But now you can't do it then, because it's going to be even worse. Oh, now you want to get back on Twitter?
Yeah, but you want to know something? If he catches a couple touchdowns against the Jags, they'll love him again.
You think?
They loved him last year. The guy caught a touchdown. Like, we're all forgetting.
If I was a Chiefs fan, like, look, if you're gonna get crazy about a week 1 loss, like even the guy who's like, oh, Patrick, was it embarrassing? I'm like, embarrassing? Like, it's not like they got blown. Listen, I remember the Heat losing on ring night in 07 in the 06-07 opener.
The Bulls, right? They lost them like 30.
That was embarrassing. That was an embarrassing ring night. That wasn't embarrassing.
I remember that.
All right, Leroy, are you ready to do our picks?
Yep, and because you're always the loser, you can go first.
Man, damn, dude. All right, fine.
We're going to pick 5 games.
Yep.
We
got some music here, Vlad. Let's football it up. All right. Leroy, my first pick is the Miami Dolphins over the Los Angeles Chargers. Getting 3 points.
All right. Is anybody writing this down? Tobin.
I am.
Okay, cool.
Miami.
J-Fit, can you get it?
Writing it down.
3.5. All right.
What do you got, Leroy?
My first pick is going to be, I can't believe I'm doing this.
Huh?
The Ravens. Minus 9.5 over the Texans.
I was about to say, that's a huge line. Baltimore minus 9.5. Going with his Super Bowl pick, ladies and gentlemen. Going with his Super Bowl pick. All right. I can't believe I'm doing this.
Tobin, you were Dolphins, what?
Plus 3.5.
Plus 3.5, okay.
Oh, plus 3, excuse me. Plus 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say, when did that half come? Because I'm about to I was about to call somebody right now.
Oh, you shaving points already, dude?
You shaving points.
What?
I'm like, wait a minute. When did the Chargers become 3.5?
You just gave yourself a hook?
I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers getting 2.5 at home against the Niners.
Okay. All right.
Dun, 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 dun.
I am going to pick the Philadelphia Eagles minus 4 on the road against the Patriots.
Mac Jones. Boom. All right. I'm going to go with, I can't believe this,
Oh my God, just say it.
the New York Jets Getting 2.5 against the Bills.
All right.
Wow, Tobin. I think a tear might have dropped on that.
Sorry, buddy. I know. Listen, I'm trying.
Look at that. That was so ridiculous. My pencil broke.
Wow.
Wow.
All right.
Getting points at home prime time? Come on, baby.
All right. Let's see. I did the Eagles. I did the Ravens. Okay. Is there any game in the world you could care less about other than the Raiders and the Broncos?
I mean, yeah, I think it was the you scoffed at me when I started it off. It was Panthers at Falcons.
No, the worst game is Commanders Cardinals, guys.
Commanders Cardinals is rough too.
Joshua Dobbs is your starting quarterback.
Woof.
Come on.
Woof.
Well, that being said, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I will take the Minnesota Vikings minus 5.5 against Baker Mayfield. Doesn't matter what team he's playing for.
Fair enough. I'm going to go with the half Billy game, Bengals and Browns, and I'm going to take the Bengals, and I will give the 2 points.
Whoa. All right. I will take the Dallas Cowboys minus 3 over the Giants.
All right. Dallas minus 3. And I'm going to go with, to close out my picks, Leroy Horde's New Orleans Saints minus 3 against the Titans. Don't let me down, Derek Carr.
Okay.
Don't let me down.
I will go the Jacksonville Jaguars over the Colts because I heard somebody say that quarterback they got is horrible. In fact,
the kid Richardson?
Yes. Guess what name they mentioned?
Who?
Jamarcus Russell.
Who said that?
Dude
People?
that comes on that does the gambling with Hawk.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, from Canada?
Jamarcus
Yeah.
Russell?
That's what he said.
That's a bit strong.
Well, he's also a Florida fan.
Lee Sterling?
Lee
Oh,
Sterling.
well, that's going to
Yeah.
sway you if you're a Florida fan. I mean, yeah, he played like 4 games for the Gators. All right.
Wait,
so
how
there
many?
we go.
We did 5 games?
5
That's
games,
4.
dude. No, we did 5.
That was 4.
No, there's 5.
What? You took Baltimore. You took
Baltimore.
Minnesota, Philly, Dallas, Jacksonville.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. That
I have-
Jacksonville one, I'm surprised that slipped on you.
Yeah, because you want to know something? Jags
Because it's
Colts.
Jacksonville.
No,
That's why I can't touch the Cleveland
Jags-
game.
I'm
I want to.
Jags Colts is always a thing. I'm just,
Really?
Yeah,
The Colts are terrible, dude.
they are bad, and their owner is trying to move Wales.
Crazy.
And I have Miami, Pittsburgh, the Jets.
All right. So of
Cincinnati,
your
and New
games,
Orleans.
what game are you most confident in? Which game are you like?
I'm pretty confident in the Dolphins. The least confident, New Orleans.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I'm a little like Leroy. Am I sleeping too much on the Titans?
We don't know what to make of the Titans. That's the thing.
I think I got 2 games that are kind of.
And I'm pretty confident the Jets are going to win. I think they're going to beat the Bills.
I have 2 games that I'm a little. I don't know what the deal is with the Eagles, although they're just good, right?
Yeah.
I don't think the Patriots are that good, but you can never it's weird about the Patriots. You always have to something.
I get you. I understand what you're saying, Leroy, but this is a nasty opening game.
I
Mac
know.
Mac Jones doesn't understand the pressure that's going to be put on him.
Right.
You're talking
My
about the
other one
home
is-
opener and Brady's numbers being retired. And if you crap the bed, if you get blown out in front of Brady,
Right.
in front of those people in a national televised game,
They're going to beg for him to come back.
They're going to beg for him
They're
to
gonna
come back.
beg for him to come back. Please, Dog, please.
Oh my
So,
God! That
Here's
Boston
here's the other game. I wanted to go pick the Cowboys in the Giants game, right? But I have no faith in Daniel Jones, but nobody else in the world has any faith in Dak Prescott. And guess what? Here's the crazy thing. it's his own team's doing.
It's true.
Right? It's his own team doing, because they could have very well said, Dak will turn it around. Dak's been at this for a while. And we would say, yeah, he just had a bad year. We would have just ended at that, right? Because he's played enough good football. But you go sign a guy that was a third pick in the draft 2 years ago? What are you saying to Dak? Now, I will say this. Here's a rule in football. They say, if you worry about a guy they brought in taking your job, then you probably shouldn't have that job in the first place. So whoever they bring in to play quarterback, Dak shouldn't be worried about it. He should be worried about Dak and what he needs to do.
All right. We play a little You're Dead to Me. Next.
AM broadcasting live from the Ed.
dead to me. All right, welcome back. Time to bury some people. Tobin and Leroy here with you on 560 WQAM. If you like comedy and you want to go see comedian Stavros Halkias at the Broward Center on November 11th, you can enter by texting the word show to 20357. That's show to 20357. That'll enter you into the contest. If you don't win, you still want to go. More info is available at browardcenter.org/events. The text contest, message and data rates may apply. Is Leroy sleepy poos or is he?
No,
oh, okay.
I hear you.
All right,
No.
just making sure. You were like off in the distance.
No,
if
no.
you guys missed it, we had Bernie Kosar on way early in the show, and he was great. He was fantastic. So we'll bring you him coming up in about 10 minutes for those who missed him because it was Goosey's. I mean, he was good. He gave us all the feels.
Especially the love he had for Leroy.
Especially the love he has for Leroy. It's a different love.
Sweet.
He loves Leroy Horde. So we'll have that coming up for you. But first, you're dead to me. And mine's easy. And I feel bad that he deleted his Twitter, but I don't feel bad because he cost me a bet. And now I owe Leroy money. Darius Tony, you're dead to me. I don't know what to do.
Wait, you gonna hate half of the sports world because you always lose. You always lose.
I have a singular person I can point my blame to, and it's Mr. Hand the Lions a touchdown and then drop more easy catches and Kadarius Toney. I mean, I know that what did they have? Did they have 12 drops yesterday? Was that they said it was a team record yesterday?
I know more and Tony had 5 combined.
Jesus. Well,
by the way, J-Fig, my body was still tingling long after the show ended because of your glorious coffee.
We're all jacked up.
It is glorious. I love it.
She said, "Would you like another shot?" And she reached in her bag and pulled out
wow.
I've never seen dry.
What kind of stuff was she pouring in your coffee?
I don't know.
No, but he saw me pour it. Okay.
Yeah.
It was Café Bustelo. I have little shot packets and I throw them in there because I know the station coffee isn't that strong.
So now they're putting things in packets now. Okay, that's how they move.
Yeah. I'm just telling you this. My body was I was fired up, ready to do something.
But it was delicious, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Leroy.
So here's who's dead to me. And I usually don't like to go after athletes or players unless it's Eli Apple.
You're dead.
Jimbo Fisher. He is front and center of standing on his soapbox of every hype topic in college football, only to renege on it 5 minutes later.
You going with Jimbo or Dabo?
Dabo. No.
What did Jimbo say?
Jimbo was saying was it Dabo or Jimbo who said
that he retire? That was Dabo.
Yeah.
Okay, Dabo.
Jimbo was the weirdo who was talking about eyes this week. Who was like,
right? That too. They're both confusing as hell. But Dabo Sweeney, first of all, don't put yourself out there like that, right? You know damn well with the players that you have, you're gonna need to be in that transfer portal, and you know damn well if you're gonna get the 5 stars to come to your school, somebody gonna have to bring some NIL to the table. So for you to say, name who's the name, image, and likeness of God? That was Dabo?
That was Dabo.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you go say 15 Hail Marys, and down here in Florida, they putting 15,000 in these kids' pockets.
Yeah, you might want to throw up a couple more prayers there, Dabo.
Yeah, but that's just ridiculous. Why? Don't be a fraud. Don't be a fraud. Play the game. Just like, Nick Saban say, I'm not a fan of it, but I'm going to play it.
You better throw, like that plate goes around. Dabo better throw a few more in the old
coffer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, who's dead to you?
Hey?
Besides birds.
Okay. And that peacock. So not the night before yesterday, Marcos thought it would be a very good idea to listen to our former manager well, my former manager, and play a little prank on me that lasted till 3 a.m.
You mean?
And I didn't like it.
Are you talking about the improv?
I was not going to mention the name, but yes.
Oh.
They decided to play a little
I
prank
just want
on
to make
me.
sure it wasn't Galen or anybody here.
No, that's why I said my former, and I'm still here, so.
I never know if anybody's getting bounced here, you know?
Let's not say that.
You never know.
Never know. Just clarifying.
Never know.
Well, they decided to play a little prank on me, and it went too far. They even went as far as changing names in their phone, like the messages, and trying to put that a comedian was talking about me in the messages, and it was not good things. So I was really upset.
That's messed up.
And I went off.
Can you say what the comedian is?
I don't know if I've ever spoken about that comedian here, but it was just a big one.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. It's up to you.
I think so too. Yeah, I won't say. Either way, they're dead to me.
Jeez.
Wow. They got me very mad. And
For
then
what
at the end,
I don't think he's very funny.
he's not funny. And the joke wasn't funny either.
Can I just say this? It's pretty hard to go to a comedy club and not laugh when you're going there to laugh.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
some guys are probably going to get the benefit of the doubt of a joke because you're there to hear the jokey jokes.
Well,
so if you go to a comedy club and you don't leave laughing, that means that guy sucked.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well, yeah, they basically took it too far, and they're dead to me because they got me mad for no reason.
That's why
it was too soon.
He took the day off because he was scared of the ramifications.
Pretty much. That's exactly why he's not here.
Who's dead to you, Vlad?
All the primetime haters.
Oh.
All the people that were criticizing Deion Sanders after his victory over TCU, Colorado.
Were they?
Oh, Leroy.
But they just don't like Deion.
That's the
Right.
point.
So it don't matter. Like here's the thing. And I tell Tobin this all the time. If you are being you and that's who you've always been, it's a me problem. If I don't like what you're doing. That dude has been the same person his whole career. Right? But he's kept it real. He's kept it true to who he is. And if people don't have a problem with it, that's on them.
But Leroy, that's the problem. When he's always been himself. So when he's playing football, the Falcons, the Niners, everybody loved him. Right. When he had the little incident with Tim McCarver, not knowing that Tim McCarver was saying things about him and he was his way of responding, people hated him. When he went to the end after he retired, CBS, NFL Network, Truth University, they all love Prime. Prime is great for the kids. Now that he's in a Division I Power 5 conference, he's now in the big time and he's doing what he's always been doing. All of a sudden now there's hate for Prime, and I don't get it. Like, I don't get it.
Vlad, it's on them. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I can say I don't always like the flamboyant behavior of Deion, right? But guess what? He's been true to who he is. I ain't gonna never be mad at him for being who he's been for day one. And that dude keeps it real. So when you have a problem with, when he go talk to your kids, he go talk to those parents, they look at him and say, that dude is keeping it real. So why is he getting all these kids to come to school? Why is he getting all these young cats looking at him like, yeah, I want that guy to lead me? See, it's not Deion doing it wrong. You doing it wrong because you go in these kids' house and they don't trust you. So whatever Deion's doing, whether you like it or not, that's who Deion is. I don't have to like everybody. But I got to respect that he's who he is.
Well, I can't wait to see it, man. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what they got in store for this week against Nebraska.
You know they're going to be on national TV every week.
Tobin, September 30th, bro. You
Who's
can
that?
have
USC?
USC, Colorado,
undefeated.
Charlo, Canelo.
Oh, what a day. What did they?
And wait.
Yeah.
Let's not forget. Hold on. Let me whisper. I got to whisper this.
All right. If you guys missed it, Bernie Kosar, he joined us earlier on the show. He was fantastic. You'll hear from the Canes legend coming up next.
1, 2, 3,
guest line. Shop hundreds of Toyotas indoors in one of America's largest showrooms at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. A man who is a Canes legend and near and dear to Leroy Hord's heart.
Yes,
Bernie
he is.
joining us here on the show. Bernie, thank you for joining us.
Hey, Tobin and Leroy, awesome to be with you today.
Bernie, I don't know. One thing I want to know, I've been partners with Leroy now for like 8 years, and I just exhaust him left and right. But when he hears from you, he just gets happy, man. Like he has an easy feeling. He seems happy when he hears from you. How do you do that with him? Because I just seem to be driving him nuts all these years.
Well, thank you for swallowing my cranium up to see that he actually smiles, okay, when he hears my name. Because back in the old days, hazing was not only allowed, it was expected by the quarterback. So when you were a rookie and I'm the veteran quarterback, you had to be a little harsh on the rookie. So I had to be a little bit at the beginning, but Leroy, and I don't want to swell his cranium, but Leroy was so dominant a football player, and me and him had such a rapport on the field. He was hard to get mad at because he was so damn good at getting open, catching my passes and blocking. So he made me statistically awesome out on the field. So I can't love him enough for being out there.
See, Tobin, see how that works? See how that works? You ought to try it sometimes.
Maybe. I guess I gotta change my ways, Leroy. But I don't throw a ball as good as Bernie does.
And I wish I was saying that just to be gratuitous or Eddie Haskell nice and stuff, but really it's just genuinely true. So some of my kind of more iconic plays that were kind of drawn up in the sand, Leroy was a big part of. And actually, after watching the Kansas City game last night, Leroy and me had one of our bigger plays against Kansas City where he made one of my little 5-yard passes. He turned into like a 75-yard touchdown run, which thank you very much for that, Mr. Horde.
Hey, I did well with that too, believe me. So, Bernie, did you watch the game last week? Did you watch the Canes game last week?
Yes, I did. Yes,
and
I did.
When was the last time you saw a University of Miami team play almost mistake-free, dominant up front, and disciplined football? It's been a while, right?
Wow, Leroy, what a astute point and a great way to kind of get right into the Canes stuff. And yes, whether it's my old days with the Canes, mine and Leroy's day with the Browns, I absolutely am a homer. And as a trustee at the University of Miami, I bleed green and orange. So there's no question that I want to see the positive side of things. But if I could peel that back and put my objective football hat on, Leroy, I absolutely concur with you. To see a opener like that from any football team, but especially our University of Miami team, for the way we haven't been really dominating the line of scrimmage for the last quite a few years, and having pre-snap penalties and undisciplined type plays, to come out and soundly beat a solid football team that was a bowl team the year before, and to just dominate the game the way a Miami team was awesomely fun to watch. And actually, I think sets up really cool for a real amped up national game that University of Miami, we put ourselves on the map 40 years ago, making games like this mean something in South Florida. And it's kind of cool that it's the 40th anniversary of the national championship, and Texas A&M is coming to town for a nationally televised game that really means something for the magnitude of our Miami program again.
Bernie, I was going to ask you this reunion, when you get these milestone years, is this Goosey's? Is this Goosey's galore when you guys all gather together like this and you get to reflect on something so special? What does that mean to you?
Well, you know what, Tobin, is at first it's hard to believe that it's 40 years ago. My God, I don't feel like the old man now in the late third quarter, early fourth quarter of my life. But you know what, you get more reflective. And, this, I want to talk about really just the national championship part of it, but really that game and football really teaches you kind of life lessons, and your DNA of kind of some of the things you are as an adult really happen from stuff that happens as a young man. And that team, we lost our first game that year. We got beat at Florida, and that team and that passion, that commitment, that resiliency, that ability to get back up after you get knocked down was kind of epitomized by that 1983 national championship team. And I just love those guys so much for it. Tobin, to your question, to the point where, talking about that national championship game and that season, I had so many things in my life after that, whether it was Leroy getting cut in 1993 and that resiliency, that ability that the 1983 Canes team taught me to not quit, to not feel sorry for yourself, to be resilient, to get back up. So I get cut from Cleveland, and then 30 years ago, I get to go to Dallas and win the Super Bowl with them. So then retiring in 1997, I had so many physical issues with my health and wellness. So that 1983 team teaching me how to not quit, not feel sorry for yourself, to now be here today talking to you guys north of 11 o'clock and feeling good after being diagnosed 4 years ago with 5 years left of cognitive brain function, and to be able here to know what cognitive is and to be able to articulate, enunciate, communicate multiple syllable words and to kind of reverse some of the cognitive decline. It's just awesomely honored to be a part of it. And I can't thank my teammates anymore in the University of Miami anymore for kind of what they taught me, for never quitting and getting back up. It's kind of when I say, Leroy, you and me, you hear me say it, we've kind of branded it up in Cleveland where we say you matter because we care about people. We tell people that you matter. Well, that's part of what I kind of learned in 1983 from my University of Miami brothers, that you matter. And it's part of a core foundation of what I stand for as I get into my health and wellness journey here in the fourth quarter of my life.
Oh, the great Bernie Kosar. Go ahead, Leroy.
Bernie, so one of the crazy things that I've always remembered about Miami is it's one of the unique schools that went from quarterback you, linebacker you, running back you, tight end you. And I'm talking about first rounders, top guys all over the NFL. And it's interesting to see now that they're trying to get back to that, where you come to Miami, you win football games, you're going to be that guy. And I'm thinking, what group, looking at Tyler, was it Tyler Van Dyke?
Yes.
Watching him play, do you see some of those things that, he has done as a leader and as a quarterback that makes you feel good about getting back to those days?
Leroy, great point. And a lot of my ex-teammates would be mad that you left out the wide receiver greatness, because I was with Eddie Brown, Michael Irvin, Brian Blades, Brett Perriman.
Right.
So,
all guys that we all played against. Right.
Yeah, those are some big dogs and stuff. So, that's an honor to play in that many gifted players. And when you have that many gifted players around you, just like I was Tobin, glowingly saying about Leroy, good players make us quarterbacks look good. And Tyler, though, what I really liked, and Leroy, just as you astutely pointed out, the mistake-free, dominant, in-control game that the whole University of Miami played this past Saturday, starting with Tyler. His dominance, his maturity, his leadership, you could tell who the man was Saturday afternoon at Hard Rock Stadium. So that was very comforting to see a quarterback like that, knowing who's the man, who's in charge, and he was leading it. And that was very cool to see from a old school quarterback perspective.
Bernie, we're seeing the quarterbacks again, these monster deals. Joe Burrow, he just got a $219 million guaranteed, highest paid player in NFL history. And like all the QBs from that class now pretty much locked up except for Tua. Tua's got a big year coming up, and he had talked this year about, maybe thinking about stepping away after the concussion stuff from last year, but then is doing jiu-jitsu to try and avoid these hits that he has. What do you think about, his career? Because so talented when he's on the field, but obviously that is a big thing. You do have to be available. and he's going through, went through a lot last year, not only physically but mentally. What do you think of his talent? What do you think he's gone through going into this season, this critical year in his career?
I love Tua, love him a lot, and I'm afraid for him at times because he had some of the same doctors that started my medical decline back in the mid-90s, helping or hurting him, which is a massive issue still with us players in the league and us ex-players. So partly why I'm so obsessive, Tobin, and Leroy knows this, and as we'll be talking hopefully through the course of the year, why I had to find my own health and wellness program to save my life from. And it's funny as we're talking about this, or sad that we're talking about this during September, which is National Suicide Prevention Month. And last Thursday was International Overdose Awareness Day, that I could have been a stat in either one of those lines there, because some of the doctors and treatments that us ex-NFL guys get is so disruptive. So some of the things that unfortunately Tua has had happen with his concussions is a guy who's had over 100 of them that ultimately led to 14 seizures that had me in a coma, my last two, for 72 and 96 hours. Some of the things that you've got to do to hold off some of the TBI, traumatic brain injuries, that causes that fencing that happened to Tua on the midfield on the stretcher of the Cincinnati Bengals game, unfortunately was happening to me. So learning how to hold off those effects and slow down that deterioration, of our brain has been a fixation of mine that thankfully I've found some relief that Tua absolutely needs to pay attention to, unfortunately.
So, Bern, who are some of the guys, because, you told me you were going to eat with some former players. Who are some of the guys who are back that you guys are hanging out with, and who is, the guy you look forward to seeing? Like, I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Who's that guy?
Well, I got to say that it was so many of our brothers here that it would be tough to just say any one of them. But one of the things, Leroy, that I would say with some of my old linemen here is that, and I said it in jest, but I've had like 40 surgeries, 80 broken bones, 100 concussions. I said 14 seizures. I had some challenged offensive lines when I was in the pros, and I was not the fastest guy, so I helped the decline of my body, but I had some challenged offensive lines. I did not have that, Leroy, in college. I had one of the most awesome offensive lines, and I was very rarely touched. So I can't wait to see all 5 of my old offensive linemen together.
Well, Bernie, we really appreciate you making time for us. Thank you so much, and we hope you have a great morning. Have a great weekend. Enjoy this weekend, and thank you for spending time with us.
Thanks. Hey, follow my journey on the KosarWellness.com, and love to keep up with you guys through the course of the year. I say you matter because we're trying to make a difference for everybody.
Definitely, right. Brendan. We'll make that happen.
I'll talk to you,
God
Bern.
bless you guys.
All right.
You matter. Go Canes. Go Dolphins this weekend. Bye.